Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us. We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com. Enjoy the show.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks.
We're excited to meet a new friend here on the show. We don't get an opportunity like this very often, do we, Josh?
No, not at all.
A lot of folks stay away.
They do.
We'll try our best. Now, just like our Dr. P segment, when Dr. James Parnell swings on by and tries to help folks out with their health problems, we thought, why not do the same for our beloved pets? So we welcome to the show for the very first time from Gurman Animal Hospital, Dr. Andrea. Hello, Dr. Andrea.
Good morning. How are you?
How wonderful that you have joined us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
What do you think of our fancy radio studio?
I'm quite impressed. It's pretty glamorous in here.
Have you been in a radio studio before?
Never before.
Yeah, I feel like working here almost 30 years, we haven't been in a radio studio either. From what you see, we're broadcasting from.
Yeah, it's pretty bland in here.
Yeah.
She's honest.
Yeah.
However, right there in front of you, a big bag of Cheetos right here. Do you see this?
Oh, yeah.
Big bag of Cheetos.
Donuts right there.
Like I was saying, we would like to do something similar to what we do with Dr. P. Folks can text in questions, concerns about their pets, and already texts are pouring in. I knew it. I did, because our listeners have shown before, haven't they, Josh, that they really do love their animals.
Oh, yeah. People love their pets.
So the texts are pouring in, and we're going to look to you, Dr. Andrea, for some advice, try to steer folks in the right direction. How long have you been a veterinarian? Tell us your backstory a little bit.
Yeah, I grew up in the Twin Cities suburbs and went to undergrad at Miami of Ohio and went to grad school or vet school at the University of Minnesota. So
Is that something you've always wanted to do?
Actually, I went to medical school for a week and decided people weren't my thing. So I went back and decided to go to vet school.
Man, people still aren't my thing either, really. They aren't.
Yeah,
I'm going to argue that they're not your thing at all, actually.
No, not many of them. So you started off briefly, thought about working on people, then you decided pets.
Yep.
And here you are.
Yep. I spent a year working at the U of M emergency and decided I needed my sleep, and then went and worked in small animal practice.
You know what? There's some of your clients that have texted in, and they've got a lot of great things to say about you.
Oh, great.
That's nice to hear a balance from what we've been hearing before you got here, so it's good to see some of the good things coming in.
And you know what? We met with Dr. Andrea yesterday and chatted a little bit, and one of the things she told us is she went to Hopkins High School. So it's official. Someone that went to Hopkins finally made something out of themselves.
Thank you.
Someone. It finally happened. Well, that's great. Texts have been coming in. I got a couple set aside right away. And, what would you say your specialty is? Dogs, cats? What should folks maybe stay away from? I mean, it's totally understandable if there's certain things that you know.
Yeah, well, I don't do many reptiles. Don't do many exotics.
Okay.
I have a pack of chickens at home. I don't know if that's
call
them
really?
a pack, but I have about 15 chickens at home, so I dabble in that.
Okay.
But mainly dogs and cats.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you are going through school, though, do you have to work on a little bit of everything?
You do. You do. Your third year, you actually decide if you're going to be large animal, small animal, exotic, zoo, mixed
really?
animal. Yeah, there's a whole list of things you could choose from.
What would you, you mentioned dogs and cats, but what's the most exotic animal you've ever treated?
Oh, gosh.
Or maybe zoo animal, something like that?
No, good question. I have a client who rehabs foxes. So I have spayed a fox, which is kind of cool.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. Same anatomy as a dog. It's really neat. Yeah.
I had one of those.
Pretty tame fox.
One of those would hang around our fish house every winter years ago. And we'd throw him minnows, and then he got run over.
That's too bad.
It was terrible. I didn't run him over.
Say that to an animal lover.
He didn't.
It's so devastating.
Didn't feel a thing. A car went driving by on the ice, and he had a belly full of minnows. He went out happy. What do you guys want from me? Here we go. I have a text message here for Dr. Andrea. Tell me what you make of this one. My cat has been losing weight, very thirsty. Saw a veterinarian. And the theme, I think, the idea is a hyperthyroid issue. So this listener says, other than giving it kitten food, what can I do?
Yeah, so first and foremost, the first thing that comes to mind is hyperthyroidism. Very common disease in cats, so their metabolism is through the roof. So they're super hungry, but they're losing weight. They tend to be more vocal, and they look a little rough. They start to lose hair. So I would definitely have a thyroid checked. I check kidney values too. With that water intake, that's a big thing to look into. Some basic lab work just to make sure. Kidney disease, thyroid disease, heart disease, probably the 3 most common things we see in cats. So
Those cats are interesting characters.
yeah, I don't know about kitten food though. I'd probably, if it's an older cat, I'd probably consider something a little bit lower in protein, especially if we have concerns with kidney disease.
Okay. How come sometimes when I'm petting my cat, he looks like he's having the time of his life, and then 1 second later, he tries to kill me?
Yep, super common.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just get they get overstimulated.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of come back at you.
And I said, what gives, bro? You know what I mean?
terrifying when
we
that
were cool a
happens.
second ago.
1 second ago, we were tight.
It's like ADHD for cats.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he turns around and he kind of looks at me like, I'll kill you, you bastard.
Yeah, the cats, they have a mind of their own, and you never know what they're going to do next.
There's people like that too, though,
Oh, for
right?
sure.
Where you're just
that's true.
you're having a good time, but just the slightest thing might set them off, and this can turn ugly real quick. Skateboard Pete Jesus wants to know why his 10-month-old putt mix. I wonder if they meant like pit mix.
Maybe pug?
Yeah, I'm not
Because
sure.
The T is kind of close to the G on the keyboard here. Maybe he meant to say
It could be, yeah. Keeps shaking her head and whining.
Ooh, I'd be worried about our ears. I'd have the ears checked out. Ear infections are super common this time of year with the high humid temps. I'd also worry about some neck pain. Sometimes if they shake their head and they have some neck pain, they can be uncomfortable. Yeah.
What is what breed of dog brings about those ear issues with the fungus and whatever?
Oh, the yeast infections.
God, I had
yeah.
some of it can be really bad.
Yeah, really bad.
I'm guessing it's the dogs with the floppiest, longest.
Yeah, basset hounds.
Yeah.
I saw the cutest basset hound yesterday at 8 weeks. But they always get ear infections. Cocker spaniels, they're susceptible. A lot of doodles get ear infections.
And there's a lot of those these days.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
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 If you don't mind, I was
Doodle mania, Josh, they're calling it.
Is that right?
Doodle mania.
Oh, I've seen all the women screaming on black and white televisions. So, is there? Hopefully, this is okay that I can sneak a question in here because it's related. We've had Great Danes for a long time now.
Yeah.
They got the big floppy ears, and they shake their head, and it's loud. Like when their
Yes.
ears are slapping their face. They shake their heads all the time. Each one we've had has done that. I just assumed it was part of what they do. I mean, does that mean there might be some ear stuff going on?
Well, a lot of dogs, when they wake up in the morning, they tend to do that where they flap their head really aggressively, especially
Yeah, that's
with those
about right.
floppy ears. You would smell it. A lot of times you'll see it because there'll be some inflammation if you lift up the ear, and then you'll see some of that like dark, moist debris.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
bad.
so I would know.
Yes.
Oh, I had a-
You would know.
My dachshund would get terrible. The smell, everything. You can't miss it, Cubby.
Is that
the
right?
smell.
You can't miss
Oh,
it.
it's that bad?
It's so bad.
Now, I will say occasionally I'll stumble across it in a routine exam, and it may be kind of the initial part of it. Some dogs have chronic ear issues that are really hard to get ahead of.
And you can treat it with drops sometimes.
Drops. Sometimes you have to culture the ears to make sure you're treating with the right medication. It just depends. Sometimes you have to use cleaner, especially in the summer months if they're swimming in the cabin or the lake. Yeah.
This person says, my dog's paws smell like Fritos. So do our dogs.
puppy paws.
And he licks them often. What's going on?
I love
Dude, that
smell.
is so weird. I've got a new dog. What is that thing? A Yorkie. She smells like a corn chip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
our
them
dogs,
do.
their paws do as well.
No,
Yeah.
this is the first dog I've ever had that smelled like a corn chip.
Oh, really? You've
Yeah.
had broken dogs.
No, I mean, that's a pretty common odor coming from their paw pads. It worries me, though, with the licking. We see a ton of allergies this time of year, and if they're licking their paw pads, a lot of times they can introduce moisture, which creates a yeast infection, once again, in the paws. And sometimes that smell can be from that as well.
It's not a bad smell. I love Fritos.
Maybe there's something wrong with my olfactory system. I never noticed.
Sometimes that's a good thing, especially in the field of veterinary medicine.
I'll bet. This is a medical IT Jesus. I've got a Shih Tzu who needs an exorcism. Does she provide those? He attacks everyone. Attacks when anyone leaves.
Oof. Yeah, those are tough. Those, behavioral issues are at an utmost high right now, especially after COVID. We're seeing a ton of dogs with anxiety and some aggression too, but
Why is it? Is it from people going back to work or
so a lot of anxiety with people leaving the house. They've never been left alone. And then also they just weren't socialized like an average dog. So dog parks, doggy daycare, neighbors, because people were hiding out in their houses with their dogs. So we're unfortunately seeing a lot of anxiety and some aggression too.
What's your thought on dog parks?
You know, I think there's some good ones. I do. I think you have to have the right animal for it, the right pet who is socialized. I'm all about socialization. So I'm a fan of them if you feel like your dog is a good personality to be there.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a really interesting text. We've got Dr. Andrea on the line or on the air right now from German Animal Hospital, taking your questions on any concerns about your pets. This is an interesting one from Jesus of Suburbia. You know the Jesus and Sheezes gimmick we have here. Okay, just want to make sure you're not wondering what the hell's going on. They have to put down their 19-year-old cat tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry.
19 years, that's a poke. Now, there's another cat in the house, a 7-year-old. And Jesus of Suburbia wants to know what he should expect might change with the 7-year-old cat who has known the other one his entire life. Anything I should watch for? It's always kind of an interesting dynamic there. Should he be expecting anything from the other cat?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we'll see them actually get depressed. There's a couple cases I've had to put on Prozac, believe it or not, because they're depressed that their housemate has passed.
Really?
I didn't know
just-
that. They could do that.
Yeah, and then sometimes they'll be off food for a while. They might hide more. You could see the alternative, though, where they actually thrive in the environment because they are now a one-house, one animal in the house. And
Just a
they love
brief
the
amount of
attention.
mourning, brief amount, and then they're a rock star and they're going to soak it up. Yeah.
It depends on the pet, and it depends on their relationship, too.
You know, I'm going through that with my wife out of town this weekend. Little of the same. So a little depression. I'm starting to feel a little more of the alpha around the house for once. But my dogs put me in my place yesterday.
For the next 50 some hours, you are finally the friggin' boss.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to do with yourself.
Candy Jesus says, can the vet recommend a good flea and tick preventative for a 12-year-old Boston Terrier who's sensitive and has seizures?
Yeah, so any of those oral preventatives that we are using that, like, I don't want to, bash the product, NexGard, NexGard, Simparica Trio, any of those orals, unfortunately, dogs that have a history of seizures, there is a warning that they cannot actually be on those oral preventatives. So that's when we recommend the topicals, Frontline, Revolution. There's a plethora of them out there. So I'd stick with the topicals and avoid the orals.
I hear you. We don't know you well enough to say anything cute right there.
Yeah, we've restrained ourselves.
Yeah. I want credit for that.
Hot Cocoa Jesus
Hey,
says...
I want credit for that.
Oh,
Good job, Nick.
Yeah, I'd like a little credit. Hot Cocoa Jesus says, wants to know your take on cutting testicles off.
No.
Will that, quote, stop my Muppet from banging every moving doll with hair and then throwing up violently afterwards?
Oh my gosh, he throws
Oh,
up.
boy.
What's funny, before you get there, Dr. Andrea, is yesterday when we met, Andrea said, so we'll kind of play it out the way you guys do with Dr. P. Jesus. And we said, yes. And she said, so there's going to be a lot of genitalia questions. And we said, absolutely.
Yeah, you'll get those.
So one more time with this, they have a dog that does what?
If you neuter the dog, is that going to stop the dog from humping everything?
Oh, God.
Not necessarily.
Oh,
so
no.
a big component of it is hormones, right? So once you neuter them, it takes a while for that testosterone to drop. But a lot of dogs mount, just like female dogs do it too. And a lot of times it's behavioral, and it's not hormonal.
Oh.
So a lot of times you might see it improve, but it could still happen.
There are dogs out there who are just career mounters.
Yeah, my 10-year-old lab did it after he was neutered.
Yeah.
For years.
What did he like to attack in the house? Anything? Was there an ottoman or anything that bore the brunt of the?
Pillows, couches, and anybody that walked by.
Is it a sexual thing or a domination?
It's a domination. It's a behavioral thing.
Oh,
Okay.
Typically it is.
Just he wants to show everyone in the house, look, I can get her done.
Yes.
If I had to, I could get her done.
Wapple, after the show today, show our program director who's boss.
All
now that
right.
you know how to do it.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, real quick, going back to the listener who said they got a 19-year-old cat that's about ready to go. They also have a 7-year-old. You know, after the 19-year-old cat is gone, can I expect anything different from the 7-year-old? Here's something that my friggin' wife did. At one point, we had 3 cats in the house. One of them just upped and dropped dead. And my wife thought it was a good idea for the other cats to see that cat, show them. And I thought it was kind of interesting. Is there anything beneficial to here you go, live cat, here's your dead friend, and then so now we can move on kind of a thing?
Yeah, I mean, they know what's going down. They know what's happening.
They do.
Know it before we do, honestly. So they have that natural instinct. So a lot of times they'll be stressed because their housemate is sick. I'll have clients bring the other pet to euthanasias to see the animal after it's passed.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's effective for them to see that, but teach their own, right? I mean, but they know what's going on before the animal passes, typically.
They do.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until the situation I just described. The behavior of one of those 3 cats before the other one died, the behavior totally changed in like a month leading up to it. There was, I never would have believed
Like
that.
depression almost in
No, he was extra aggressive.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
interesting.
was like, I don't know. Dr. Andrea says so, then I'm going with it.
It's like they sense the weakness.
Yeah, absolutely.
The hierarchy changed.
Knew it was coming. The hierarchy was about to change, and they friggin' knew it. I'm telling you, Wapple, this isn't just the pot speaking.
Animal
crazy.
Kingdom. It's crazy.
This isn't just the marijuana speaking.
I'm not fat. I'm aerodynamic. Jesus has asked a question like we're actually getting a lot of these. Dogs who eat poop.
Oh, no.
Oh,
What's
gosh.
going on there?
I'd be a billionaire if I had product for that. I mean, honestly, it's tasty to them, especially in the winter months when it freezes. It's like eating a second meal. I mean, I have gotten that question for years. My own dog has done it, and just pick up the poop in the yard.
So
do
the
those
dog is
tablets
thinking-
work?
What's that?
Because I got some tablets that are you're supposed to feed your dog so that the other dogs don't eat their feces. Do those actually work? Have you ever tried those?
I have not found an effective product. I have heard feeding bananas makes the poop taste bad. I have heard giving pineapple. I have found nothing that is effective with poop eating.
Darn.
So there's no real reason for it other than they just might like it.
Yeah. It's like a second meal.
Nasty.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. But we've all known dogs who do it. I knew one who would just, and this dog lived with 3 other dogs, the poop eater dog would just be so excited when he saw the others squat.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had a dog that would do that.
Because that dog knew, I'm going to get myself something good.
Yeah, we'd have to take them out at separate times because we had a shepherd, and it was basically farm to table. Where as soon as the first dog went, she's like,
It's
"Thank
tough. It's tough. You got to deal with some tough stuff as a veterinarian.
Yeah, there's some
Some
weird
gross
scenarios.
stuff, weird.
Yeah.
I have a
Those things.
dog and he eats cat poop.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
like a delicacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, my dog ate
Delicacy.
years ago. What is it they like about cat poop?
I don't know if they can taste the food actually that they ate and it just tastes different. I am not
What can
sure.
you do?
Yeah.
They're friggin' animals.
I wish I had a product. I probably wouldn't be here right now.
No, you would be living high,
Please.
high on the hill on a mansion.
You'd be on a higher rated morning show right now. Is there any concern? Is there
No, I mean the biggest concern is infecting with parasites, right? So,
Or if the pet owner starts doing it,
yeah.
then there's a
Definitely.
concern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parasites?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Andrea mentioned earlier she is a chicken owner. 25, 30 of them, you said?
15.
15. Here is a chicken question. Where did here it is, right in front of me. My chicken is brooding. How can I get her to break the habit of laying on the unhatchable eggs all day?
I feel so sad for them when they do that.
I don't really know
yeah.
what is he saying exactly there.
So they're trying to lay the egg, right?
Trying
so
to
they're just
lay.
sitting on it, but it's not fertilized, so you can't have it. Chick,
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So honestly, the biggest thing is taking the egg away or stealing the egg.
You take the egg out of there.
Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, they get super stressed. So if you try and kind of remove them from that nest that they're sitting on, even removing some of that nesting material for the short term, because they tend to have a favorite nesting bed, then hopefully that will kind of break that habit as well.
Yeah, my sister has 7 chickens, so I've been kind of watching them, and one of the chickens does that, and it just, like you said, sits on the egg all day, and it's sad because it's
So
like
sad.
the mom wants it to be a chick, a little tiny
know.
baby chick. but-
Oh, that is sad.
Know.
Poor chicken.
I've also heard like sticking them in a dog kennel in the coop area so they don't have access to the bed.
Quite a few people have texted in about hot spots.
Oh man.
When your dog gets a hot spot and will not leave it alone.
Yeah.
And do cats get the same thing?
You know, typically we'll see hot spots in dogs. Cats will get something similar, but mainly hot spots are from their hair coat underneath never drying after swimming in the lake.
Oh, okay.
Going to the cabin. And a lot of times we'll see it. It can be a manifestation of allergies too this time of year. I see them all the time, and
Oh, God.
they're pretty nasty looking. Honestly, making sure you're getting your dog pretty dry after swimming, and maybe even using a medicated shampoo after swimming, that'll help. But some dogs need to be on chronic medications for it, especially over the summer months.
We've all had dogs who had that problem, right?
Yeah.
Oh my damn! It would get bad. It was just.
Yeah, it
And
stinks.
thinking back, it was a Springer that was always jumping in and out of the river, in and
Yep.
out of the lake, and she would just torture herself trying to. On the topic of cats' hot spots, one listener did text in and say he has a cat that licks away all of its fur, specifically on its privates. Is that a hot spot? Is that a? And I'm not trying to be cute with that. Is that a? What the hell could be going on there? The cat will specifically attack just that area and lick all the hair away.
No, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And I could figure it out maybe by context clues, but I'm not sure what a hot spot is. I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
good
sorry, Cubby.
question. It is a skin infection that's really red, ulcerated, and very moist, and it stinks. So a lot of times they'll get it from hair just being wet and sitting under the fur. So a lot of times you'll shave the hair, and it will be expansive, bigger than you think it is. And usually we'll see it around the ears, the neck, but it can present anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Josh.
Oh, no. I
The
felt
medical
stupid.
term is moist dermatitis.
Moist
Okay, see,
dermatitis.
that's how I know it.
When I said hot spot, you were thinking about that place I lived in Wayzata for a while.
Oh, man.
That was the hot
That
spot,
was
wasn't it?
something else.
You could come, 2,
Woo-wee.
3 in the morning. You could come over and there'd be something going on.
I was jealous.
That was the spot.
I wanted to list my house and move there. Lesbian medical laboratory scientist Jesus says they have
Wow.
a 5-year-old female English bulldog, Stella, started peeing in the house after a 12-year-old male boxer passed. Was fully potty trained prior. What gives?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be concerned with behavioral. And if they're urinating in the same spot, typically it can be behavioral, but you have to rule out everything else. It's an older dog, so you gotta make sure it doesn't have a UTI, make sure there's no bladder stones or anything going on in the bladder. So I'd recommend getting some labs first before you rule all that out and say it's a behavioral issue.
Okay.
Oh, back to hot spots
Oh, the
again.
cat. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right, the cat. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So cats can get allergies. They can itch and lick their area, their feet, their belly. But if it's not actually inflamed, infected, and they're not itchy anywhere else, a lot of time that's behavioral, and it's a manifestation of anxiety and stress.
Okay.
But you got to do the whole workup, the whole dermatology workup to make sure it's not an allergy issue before you say this is psychogenic or in the
Okay.
head. Yep.
How can we be sitting here talking about hot spots? And Ashley, don't you want to tell Dr. Andrea that one of your dogs chewed its own leg off?
She told me on the way in.
I mentioned it to her. I said, yeah, I'm the one with the 3-legged one.
Tell us that story again. Why did your dog chew its own leg off?
She got a little cut on one of her back legs, and she ended up getting to it a couple times, and then it was like infection after infection, and she just would not stop consuming her own leg. And
So
then-
now they ended up having to chop some of it off, right?
Yep. They did reconstructive surgery first, and that lasted for about 3 years. And finally, they were like, the bones are starting to dissolve. We just got to get rid of her leg. And now she is a completely different dog. I've never seen her this happy. It's crazy.
Dr. Andrea, in your professional opinion, she got herself a dumb dog, didn't she?
Or do we blame Ashley for this?
I mean, I'll tell you, it sounds super barbaric, right, to amputate a limb, but they do amazing. They can get around and they're much happier because they feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about dogs and cats to where, I mean, they just kind of move on so easily?
Yeah,
It's-
they're pretty resilient.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting. When it did happen, the vet was very excited to see if she had any phantom limb syndromes.
Yep.
And she does sometimes. Like, she'll go to bite her leg and it's not there. And she looks at me like,
Oh,
what
God.
the heck?
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Phantom leg.
This person says, I brush my dog's teeth often. Why does he still have terrible breath?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. So unfortunately, in dogs and in cats, a lot of oral disease is genetics. Feeding hard food is good for their teeth, but it all depends on the pH of the saliva, the type of bacteria in the mouth. So some dogs, regardless of how much you brush their teeth, still need professional teeth cleanings where you go in and anesthetize and scale their teeth. More than anything, it's genetics, pending the breed too.
Okay. What about a 16-year-old cat with diabetes? They say already give him shots 2 times a day. Random days a week, though, he'll pee by his litter box. Do you think we need to up his insulin dosage or is something else going on?
Yeah, I'd for sure check his insulin or his glucose curve first. Make sure that he's not running too high. Cats with diabetes are susceptible to urinary tract infections too, so I'd make sure he doesn't have a urinary tract infection. It depends on how many litter boxes you have in the house too. The rule of thumb is how many cats you have plus one. If you have 1 cat, you should have 2 litter boxes.
Oh, really?
I had no idea.
Yeah,
We got that cooking at the house.
Do you?
Good to know.
And I'm in charge of cleaning them out, which is a lot of fun.
so fun.
I actually don't mind cleaning litter boxes.
What?
Yeah.
That's a horrible smell. But
I don't do that either.
Well, I'm not like into the smell or anything, but you got the clumps. See, it's kind of fun. It's like
Wapple
playing
just-
in the sand as a kid.
I get it.
Look what I
Wapple just
found.
wet his pants over there when he heard that.
I need a new litter box changing.
You know what? If we lived closer, I'd change it for you, pal.
Wow. So many questions coming in for our guest, Dr. Andrea. We could settle something real quick before we move on. Let's just settle it. Everyone loves their pets. Everyone thinks their pet is special. But Dr. Andrea, me and my friggin' wife, our current dog, Gertie, she is the cutest dog that's ever lived, right?
Yeah, she's the best.
So there you go. The argument is
She
over.
is the best. She's such a snuggler.
Snuggle.
I don't think she's touched the ground, honestly.
Nope.
Oh,
So
sweet.
that's it. No more, oh, my dog is so cute. You heard it from a veterinarian, for God's sake. She runs the business. She's been in the business for years. It's my dog is the cutest of all time. We do have a question that deals with genitalia. We do.
Here we go.
Dr. Andrews, it says. No, it's Dr. Andrea. My dog has a large fatty deposit that keeps getting bigger and bigger on her vulva. My hometown vet said it needs to be removed, but it'll be about $4,000.
Oh, man.
We don't want to put her down. We don't have that kind of money. Do you have any advice?
Well, I think first and foremost, I'd confirm that it's a fatty lump or a lipoma. So either have it biopsied, just taking a small sample of it, but that's a tough area.
Yeah.
That it gets a little more into kind of the plastic surgery of things to remove it without causing any damage to that area, nerve damage, or issues resulting in incontinence. So that's why it's expensive because it's not an easy surgery. But I'd make sure it's not a cancerous thing too.
Right. Look into it.
Yep.
See what you can find out. What are some of the things that veterinarians can do for dogs or cats these days that wasn't available recently? Some of the new stuff. Some of this stuff is just miraculous. What were we talking about a minute ago? A prosthetic leg and this and that.
It's crazy.
What
Yeah.
are some of the things that when you first started just weren't a possibility, but now?
I mean, they're starting to do kidney dialysis at, I think, University of North Carolina or NC State. They're starting to do dialysis for dogs and cats. Actually, they are starting to do cloning of pets as well.
What? No way. I
Wait
need
a
to get my
minute.
hands on this. How much money? They can have it all.
Somebody tie Ashley down before we have 30 three-legged dogs running around her neighborhood.
Or it's going to be Jurassic Park all over again.
Yeah, right?
Cloning pets.
Yeah.
So after their pet dies, they can bring one back that.
Well, yeah, typically we have seen a few cases where you actually take tissue biopsies of the pet and then you send it into a lab.
Dude.
Obviously, we have no connection with the actual cloning process, but we take the tissue samples to send it in.
Freaky,
crazy.
isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, it is freaky.
It's amazing what they can do.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I would love to know your thoughts on when somebody comes in and does something like that.
Well, so the interesting thing is there's that whole concept of nature versus nurture, right? So are you going to get the exact same dog? Do you want the dog because of the looks, or do you want the dogs because of its temperament, right? And you never know what you're going to get temperament-wise, and it's all about how it's grown up, socialized, all those things. So is cloning going to give you the dog that you actually want?
Yeah, we've all seen Pet Cemetery, haven't we?
Yeah.
Oh, true.
That's what I
I-
thought of.
That's what would freak me out.
Yep.
I also think there are enough pets in this world that need homes, unfortunately, that we could help the rescue population
There
too.
you go. There you
Yes.
go. That's a good
Yeah.
point. That's a good point. Especially, at least the stories I hear, is, when COVID hit town and everyone was staying at home, they wanted to rush out and get a companion, and they got a dog, and then they didn't know how to care for the dog, and then the shelters got packed.
Yep.
This person says when you clone a dog, it's Jurassic Bark.
That's a dad
Welcome
joke.
to Jurassic. I love dad jokes, so thank you for sending that in.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got to wrap her up, but really, honestly, Dr. Andrea, this has been a lot of fun.
Super
Yeah.
fun. Thank you.
We appreciate you coming by.
Yeah.
We hope you join us again.
I'd love to.
And appreciate all the text messages that came in. Oh, my God.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back. If you want to come back, we'd love
Yep,
to have
I'm
you.
in. I loved it. Super
Good.
fun.
You got any big plans on the weekend?
Oh gosh, lots of hockey.
Hockey, summer hockey.
Yeah.
That's fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to pimp anything? But maybe that's an inappropriate way to put it. Is there anything you'd like to promote on the way out here, or any final thoughts?
No, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
We
So-
did too. We
Yeah.
did too.
Thank you.
We'll
That was
see you
great.
again soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
The Half-Assed Morning Show backtracks.
Josh, did you hear about this friggin' contest? Now, first, let me ask you, what is, and the earlier we get to this story, the better. What's the strangest competition you've ever seen or been a part of? And you're probably thinking back to all the bizarre, disgusting competitions we've had here at the radio station.
We've had a lot. So are you excluding those?
Oh, no. I'm including something you saw at a bar, something here at the radio. I'm including every damn thing. I'm not excluding anything.
Sure. The most bizarre and quite shocking would be the oral sex race at Fat Tuesdays at the Mall of America.
I forgot about the oral sex race
I saw
story.
that 2 years in a row. It's I'll tell you what, they weren't taking bets at the time, but you probably could have picked a couple that looked like they'd go quick. The ladies they'd line themselves up on the bar, and then the gentlemen would perform, and whoever orgasmed first was the winner.
Absolutely,
That's tough to beat.
it's absolutely amazing that was happening in a public place.
I know, and it's funny. I mentioned this before. The cops told them, "You guys, you can't do." They did their best to tell them stop doing this kind of thing. And at Fat Tuesdays, if you remember, that it's a glass on both sides.
Right.
So when you're walking through the mall, or on the other side, at the time it was Camp Snoopy. So there's people riding by on the log ride, seeing this, right, with their families. And so they had said, just put up a bunch of banners, do something like that. And they ended up doing it 1 year, and then shortly afterwards they were gone. But yeah, I saw that 2 years in a row.
Hard to
I'm going
believe.
to say, to give the place credit, I don't know that it was condoned or officiated. It was allowed, right?
Right.
It happened. I'm not sure they.
It may not have
didn't
been
plan it.
sanctioned
Yeah.
by
Official.
Ruby Tuesdays. Commissioner Wally Carbo probably didn't sanction that match.
Yeah,
but
Fat Tuesday.
whatever it was, Fat Tuesday. Again, it's amazing that happened in a public place. And it wasn't Las Vegas. It wasn't New Orleans. It was right here in friggin' Bloomington, for Christ's sake. Again, I think back to some of the silly, outrageous contests we used to have on air quite regularly on this program back in the day when that was a very hip thing to do. A lot of it was gross, just a gross out type contest, and we saw some things that nobody should see. I think about some of the, hot legs and wet T-shirt contests that got out of control at bars years and years ago.
We had the panty Olympics, the vibrating panty Olympics. It was
Jesus.
Same type of thing.
It's kind of
people ate some real gross stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing how easily I forget some of these things.
A guy got tased in the genitals.
Guy ate cow eyeballs.
Yep.
Dude drank my chew spit. Anyway.
There's some ones I'm even afraid to say, things that were consumed.
Oh, yeah.
Not that. Not gentleman oil. But some other stuff.
Yeah.
Deja vu, or as my late father used to say, deja vu. Now, we still have a deja vu here in town. Showgirls, all nude, set up over there in Minneapolis, Washington Avenue.
Last time I was there was with you and your boss.
And
we saw the greatest athlete I've ever seen in person.
We did. And surprisingly, it was not that long ago.
No.
Deja vu, Michigan. Specifically, Lansing, Michigan. This is just something. Coming up, they will be undertaking their third annual Prettiest Butthole Competition.
Whoa.
Again, Deja Vu, Showgirls, Lansing, Michigan. Their third annual Prettiest Butthole Competition is in the works. I saw an article about it yesterday. I can't believe we haven't heard of this, and they're already up to year 3. The event is open to the public. We don't actually have to live in Michigan to participate, and that must mean there's some kind of online situation happening, but I can't say.
Well, they drove there because the winner from a couple of years back, she drove
that's what they
12
mean by
hours
that.
to compete.
Okay, that's what they mean by that. Okay, you're right. A gal who won last year before, what did you say?
2023.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, so I think the first one, she drove 12 hours to compete.
Yes, she did. Okay, that's what they mean by you don't actually have to live in Michigan to participate. Sure. They say this event has grown in popularity. All right, you got a few months yet because they call it the must-attend event of the summer. Let me tell you what I know. Oh, God, I can't believe this is happening. The top prize is $2,000.
That's impressive.
Does everybody in a bar get to see your back door, Josh, if you're guaranteed $2,000?
As long as everyone's cool with it.
It's going to have to be
one person who's opposed, then no.
As long as everybody in the room is cool with it. Well, if you're
$2,000, definitely.
If you're at a pretty butthole competition, if you're in attendance, I imagine you're cool with any damn thing.
Yeah,
I'm going to want more than $2,000. $2,000 is not enough.
Oh, it isn't?
Not for me. No.
To have like 100 people see your butthole?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If I'm bending over naked, it's all balls. I mean, with age.
What do you mean it's all balls?
I mean, they really hang down there.
Oh, boy. That's what I have to look forward to.
Like, if somebody ever gave me a good game, a little pat on the butt, they're getting balls.
Mine are still pretty tight. Anyway.
Are they really?
Nice. Way more than $2,000 for my friggin' the ugliest thing in the world. For me to display it to a crowd of strangers. You're handing me way more than $2,000. But that's the prize for the Deja Vu contest, okay? $2,000, and the girls show up for this.
Do you like get your face on a magazine, on like the Deja Vu magazine?
They have a magazine?
A magazine.
I don't know.
I have no idea how far this goes. Once
that would be more embarrassing.
You win a lot. There are a lot of competitions where if you win, it's a stepping stone to higher stardom. You know, I don't think this is one of those contests. I don't think if you win the prettiest butthole competition that you're going to be getting phone calls from NBC or anything like that. But $2,000. This is the part. where I just can't believe that I'm going to go ahead and say this out loud. The judging. Now, there are judges. I don't know how many. I don't know how you qualify to be a judge in a prettiest butthole competition.
It's probably the local rock radio station, don't you think?
Oh, that's a good guess.
That'd be my guess.
A video I saw yesterday led me to believe that the dancers, the Deja Vu dancers who don't want to be involved in this contest, they don't have the same confidence in their dirty penny to enter the contest. They might do some judging, so it might be some of the ladies.
This is so fascinating. But 27 and still beardless Jesus, he's not impressed. He said, F that competition. The anal bead tug of war is way better. I've never heard of that. Is that a real thing?
Stop that.
If not, we got to bring that here.
I'm sure it is. I mean, I can picture it, and it's easy to, I was going to say pull off, but that's not the word. That'd be a very easy competition to, I can't think of another term other than pull off.
Can you imagine, though? I mean, there's a lot of risk involved in
Just
that.
two people and a set of anal beads. Anyone can have that contest.
I mean, if
the
you're...
risk involved?
Yeah, I mean, you're clenching all these muscles, and once it's released...
You might poop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a guy
There could be what I like to call a prolapse involved, too.
Sure. I know a guy that pooped.
Oh, you do? From what, like clenching too much?
His girl used some beads on him.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
Was this something he was into, or was this a first time?
First time. And he pooped.
Yeah, I could see that happen.
Yeah, because
So-
he didn't know how to clench it, keep it in there.
He didn't know anything. And I think they had about a case of beer. Anyway.
Oofta.
The judges used the following criteria for the prettiest butthole competition going on at Deja Vu, Lansing, Michigan this summer. And this is the way they've done it for a couple of years. They judge it on shading.
My God.
Okay.
I wonder if there's an asterisk next to people who do the bleaching, right? Can you... I wonder if that is cheating.
Yeah, if it's like using steroids or something.
Good
Can't
question.
do that.
Good question. The bleaching. Boy, I remember the first time I heard of that.
Me too. I
And I
thought
thought,
somebody
my-
was messing with me.
My damn. Okay.
I mean,
Shading.
You must be getting a pretty decent audience if you feel the need to do that.
Right. Maybe it's your living. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Okay. Shading. They also judge on personality. So,
Of the butthole?
well,
Or the person?
the person carrying it around. The person that's carrying it around, and the person that's brought it to the competition. They're going to judge you a little bit on personality. And that's nice. It's nice. So it's not all about aesthetics, right? If you have a couple of jokes and a bright personality, it might earn you some points. And finally, this is the part that about threw me. They also judge the butthole on the number of spokes. I've never heard that said in my life.
Beehole wrinkles?
I've never heard it said that way. I've never heard of them called spokes. And I'm a changed man now. Who is doing the counting?
Can you wrinkle out the spokes I got down there?
Come on.
That is a very good point.
Wait,
Who's
is there
counting
butthole
that?
ironing or something like that? Or I
I've
was
heard
going
of.
to say stretching, but that leads us in a different direction.
Don't know. I've heard of scrotal ironing.
Yeah, scrotal ironing. There's got to be, I'd imagine. I bet mine's a nightmare. I take care of it before colonoscopy. I got my second one, meaning the second one I've ever had.
What do you mean? Just get a towel covered in alcohol and you kind of do the Porky Pig, or what do you mean?
Well, yeah, that too, but mostly.
That would
but I mean,
sting.
like taking like a weed whip back there.
Yuck. It's terrible. So I'll be damned. It's a real thing. Feel free to look up further information if you like. Coming up this summer at Deja Vu, Lansing, Michigan, the prettiest butthole competition.
Maybe I'll ask when they're back there counting polyps. I'll ask if we could count the spokes too, and I can see I can get the spoke to polyp.
I'm never going to get over the word spokes.
Me neither. I drive a Hyundai, but ride your dad. She's said she's got a girlfriend who will show you her beehole for free anytime, any place. All she needs is about 8 White Claws.
Wow, that's aggressive. I mean, I know drinking makes a lot of us do things, but straight up show strangers your back door?
Not a fan. I don't like that.
You don't like that?
No.
I'm somewhat drawn to that.
Yeah.
Do we have any dates set on our Independence Day booze cruise yet? Do we have any tickets to give away for that yet?
Not
Because
quite yet.
we
Not
should
yet.
get this gal on the boat. And someone else commented by saying that Pink Eye Patrol will be on the scene of this prettiest.
The judges have those goggles, scientist goggles and stuff, so they don't get pink eye when they're counting.
Someone here texted and he had 2 texts on the topic. The magazine Wapple is Proctologist Monthly.
Oh.
And one of the things they do is they do a white glove inspection.
God dang.
Oh, gross. You're gross.
Here's the deal.
What's wrong with you?
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This is a PSA, or public sock announcement. Experts have declared Bombas socks as the best way to warm up chilly feet. These pairs are super cushy, soft, and designed for maximum coziness. Plus, for every pair purchased, another pair will be donated, so someone in need of essential clothing can stay warm this winter. Go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Josh, how you doing there, handsome?
Really good. How about yourself?
Hanging in there quite nicely.
Thank you for the compliment. That was
Do
nice.
you ever think about the old days, Josh? Because that's all I do.
I do, yes.
You ever think about the old days?
Yeah, definitely. Simpler times.
Simpler
perhaps.
times. Do you remember, Josh, when the ringtone on my cellular telephone was Tom Sawyer by Rush?
I do. And
Cool.
if you called Nick back in those days, it was going to ring for a while because you always wanted to hear it ring. Mm-hmm. I do remember that. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, funny you say that, anytime I hear the song, I think about that.
I do too.
It's kind of like I can't listen to Michael Jackson's Beat It without thinking Weird Al, or like a Virgin without thinking Weird Al. You know, songs like that, it's completely changed. And so that's the case with that song.
Many years ago, Josh, of course, was the one who had to show me how to make the legendary rock song Tom Sawyer by Rush. Josh had to show me how to make that my ringtone. Those were great days, but also not so great, maybe when you consider the company we kept at the time. Is that a conversation that grown folks can have? What was your best ringtone? Because the conversation has been going back and forth online. Is that a talk that we can actually have here?
I thought I had a pretty good one. My parents would call, and every time my parents would call, it'd be Final Countdown, because I knew I'd have to go home.
Oh, so you're talking back in high school.
When mommy called
Oh, that's cool.
or daddy called, you knew it was time to go home, so you locked in Europe, the Final Countdown.
Yep.
I thought it was pretty funny. A friend of mine, when his wife called, it was the Imperial March, like the Darth Vader song.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's called the Imperial March.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty good. I think my favorite wasn't a song at all. It was, at the time, I was really into the TV show 24. Jack Bauer, hero, awesome.
Never saw it.
I don't know if it'd be for you or not, but I
Probably not,
loved it. And so they had a distinctive ringtone, CTU, right, where he worked. They had a distinctive ringtone, and so so that was my ringtone for a while. Do you remember that at all?
Play it for me. Can you play it for me?
I think saved it here.
I would imagine if, since we've been sitting in the same room together for nearly 30 years, if you played it again, I would recognize it.
I'll never forget. It was a Verizon guy. I brought my phone in to be serviced, and we were talking about 24. He's like, I got to show you something. And he's the one that set that up on my phone. This right here. You remember that?
Yes, I do. When your telephone would ring after 9 a.m., it would be bup to you, whatever that. And I had the old Rush song.
What was cool about that is that if it would ring around somebody that watched the show, we had like an instant kinship, right? So I'd show a couple people that were also fans. They'd be like, how did you get that going?
You could talk about it. Text us. Again, this is kind of new to me. If you think you want to join a conversation about your favorite all-time ringtone, 651-989-9393. Here are a few that have popped in already. Take This Job and Shove It was a ringtone that belonged to one of our listeners, and they tied that in with whenever the boss would call.
I used to have our work phone number saved as don't answer anytime it called, so I just look at that and go, oh, I don't want to get that one.
For me.
How about this? The theme from Psycho, When My Mom Calls, this person says.
Dude. Sam Kinnison's Screaming.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's
was
a
the
good one.
ringtone for one of our listeners. And if you're a young person and you don't know what that means, my damn.
Oh.
Check it out. The
He loves screaming.
The Kim Possible ringtone? Does anyone know what
my
that
kids
I
watch
can't remember what it was.
If I heard it, I would know it. I loved that show. Man,
Yeah,
she
same
was
here.
good looking.
Her.
She was a good-looking cartoon babe.
Yep.
What
Oh,
is,
Short but Fat Jesus said when she got a text, it'd be the Law and Order sound.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know the law. And play that
I'm
one
sure
for
you've
me.
heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Never saw it. The Seinfeld themes. My God. Plenty of you are texting in right now. So I guess this is a conversation that we can have. They're rolling in so damn fast I can't keep up. Everyone has a favorite ringtone that they've employed.
I've always thought my mother-in-law has a clever one for when her son calls. It's the Family Guy Stewie. Mom, Mommy, Mom,
Oh, that's
Mommy,
good.
Mom, Mommy.
Now, here's the thing about that. My wife had that for my son Cam.
Uh-huh.
And the problem was it would go on forever because it was a text tone. Right? So it wasn't a ringtone where you could just answer it. It was a text tone, so that thing would be going on forever.
Oh, no, that's you got to be able
That's
to.
awful.
Makes you want to answer pretty quickly, so Stewie shuts up.
All right, Nick, here you go. You recognize that?
Sort of. It just sounds like someone dropping a piece of iron on a piano or something.
Yeah, that's pretty much how they made the sound.
Is that really?
Well, I mean, just someone on a piano, dong dong.
You'd like this, a buddy of mine who I totally just ruined any erection he's going to have for the next 2 weeks with something I told him off air. But he has a variety of Iron Maiden songs when people call.
He mixes it up.
Yeah, he does.
Ashley, are you okay?
I don't have one.
Well, no, I just kind of glanced over at the look on your face.
Oh, was it not? Did it not look good?
No, no, it looked like you were minutes away from death here a minute ago. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Jesus, did you see that, Josh?
No, I got a computer right where her face should be.
Josh was in the middle of telling this little story about his friend and his Iron Maiden related ringtones. I looked over at Ashley and I thought, she's seconds away from death.
She's a guy.
No, I'm fine.
Do you need some smelling salts or
No.
something? Okay, just wow, unbelievable how many of you have been texted in about your favorite ringtone.
Well, it's funny. When I was in high school and college, it was the era where you would spend, $2 or $5 for a ringtone back in the day.
Oh, I remember that.
And it was so silly how much money I spent, considering now I haven't had a ringer on my phone in decades.
I was just going to ask that. How many times do you put on your ringer nowadays?
Well, I do because I got to hear it when it rings.
Oh, yeah, I never do.
What am I missing?
Just put it on vibrate.
Yeah.
What about ring?
I can't always feel that.
What about ring back tones?
Oh,
you guys,
yeah.
you guys ever use those?
I don't know
what's
what
that?
What's a ring back tone?
I spent money on those, so it'd be where I could set up a particular song to play when a person calls. Like I could have a song play when you call, or whoever calls.
Okay.
It's almost like hold music.
Yeah, they'd hear that instead of the phone ringing. Like my wife is a huge Prince fan, so I would have Prince songs when she called for her.
I did not even know that existed.
It was so funny because you found out when their subscription ended for that song because you would only have it for a year. And then all of a sudden it would switch to that classical violin song. And then you were like, oh, yep, their ringback tone ran out.
I did not know that existed. So, for example, Josh, I could somehow play around with my cellular telephone and make sure when you call me, you hear Steve Vai or Joe Satriani or some guitar. Wow. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things you can.
Oh, here's somebody that this is what theirs is.
Puck Tune.
Jesus Christ. I'm right back to hating Wednesdays now.
No.
In college, when my dude friends would call, it would be the Sopranos theme song. And when the ladies would call, it was Lionel Richie All Night Long.
Lionel?
That's what I went with.
Was
Soprano,
it because it was romantic, or do you think you were going to experience all night long with them? Or?
That was the hope, yes.
Can someone play me the Sopranos theme song?
Sure, I think I've got
Was it very Italian sounding?
Maybe.
No, it was by a British
remember.
band called Alabama 3.
That would take so much time, too, to set that up, to go through your phone contacts and set every dude to Sopranos. And
Well,
then
not all the dudes, but the main bros.
Well, you could
were-
make like not what they don't call it a playlist, a contact list, couldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess.
You'll know this one, Nick. Let's fast forward here.
Never saw the show, not one episode.
Yeah, I didn't either, which is odd.
Never heard this song in my life.
Oh, really? Wow.
This guy's British?
This was a popular single before it was their theme song?
I think it's mostly known as the Sopranos theme song.
Yep.
Never heard it.
Like the show House, the TV show House, their theme song. I had no idea it was an actual song. I thought they just created the theme for it.
But
So you're saying this was an actual tune, huh?
Yeah, it came out in 97.
Tuna.
Sopranos didn't come out until, I think, like 2000.
I'm going to have to scroll through all these when I have some time because I bet our listening audience has some interesting answers to their favorite ringtone.
Oh,
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'm jealous.
This person said, how about the Chinese butt fire guys? Where the dude lit a fart and then it almost lit him on fire, completely engulfed.
So you're telling me I could make that my ringtone? See, I don't understand how to do these things.
You could even have the karate kick, dude.
Karate kick to wapa?
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, you can kind of have whatever
Someone's
you want.
got to show me how to do this because that would be hilarious.
Yeah, like every time you get a text message, you could have it rotate between those two.
Dude, I got to get this going because then I wouldn't be so bothered by phone calls and text messages if I knew I got to have those fun little moments with the sound effects and the audio and whatnot.
Do you ever do any custom ones for people? Like you can on the ones that are already existing in your phone, so you hear it and go, "Oh, I should check that because that's from so and so."
No, I have no idea how to do those things. My phone either goes zzz or it just plays the
generic,
the standard,
yeah.
whatever the phone.
Yeah, I do that for certain people just so I know. Oh, I bet I'm going to check that one.
Oh, dude, what a great idea by Hot Cocoa Sheezes. And by the way, while we were, she suggests that maybe my text ring or my phone ring should be Kim Kardashian saying, "Baby."
Oh, I wonder if you'd
That's
be allowed
not
That
a
should be
bad
for
idea.
Josh.
That would be a good text one.
Not a bad idea. A few people have gone with the Yakety Sax Benny Hill song.
That's fun.
That's a fun one.
Every time. Every time. I've been hearing that song since I was 5 years old, and it's fun every time.
That would get to me.
You'd go nuts?
Yeah, I
Don't you have any
those.
theme songs to your...
No, I never did. I recorded some off the radio when I was a kid. I remember my favorite song would come on and I'd press record as fast as I could.
On
So,
your cell phone?
Yeah, yep.
Oh.
So I would.
Something else I didn't know was possible.
Yeah, and it never really worked out the way I'd hope it would. So
Okay.
I just gave up on it, and yeah, everyone was just normal and lame. But I want ringtones now. I want to bring them back.
You and I both. Why don't we have the smarter people show us how to do it after the show is over, and we can have just nothing but hilarious things happening on our phone from now until the day that we die. Did you hear Kim Kardashian right there?
Oh yeah.
We're here she is again.
Amy?
I love it when she does that.
I was going to say, Ashley, my dad has a ringtone.
Oh, yeah, I'm lame. Sorry, Waffle.
Yeah, won't get fooled again by the Who.
Yeah, you know what? You're lame not jumping on those 70-year-old people's trends.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zedge.
Yep.
People are saying Zedge is an app where you can get a ton of text and ringtones.
All right, I'm
And
downloading it right now.
What do they want in trade?
I'm not sure. They
So-
probably all your personal information. I'm not sure what they want.
Your
Social
social,
Security,
Oh,
CVC code.
oh, my loud orgasm could be a ringtone, people are telling me.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
plenty. Yeah, a few people were hoping for my sax solo. I was thinking about using that AI website and just kind of writing some lyrics. The AI website we use for the band.
Oh, sure.
And so just have the band perform whatever outgoing message I write up. But then I thought, well, first and foremost, I don't know if anybody waits until the voicemail anymore. I don't remember the last time I got a voicemail that wasn't spam. Apparently, I'm in a lot of trouble with the IRS.
Oh,
And
yep.
an incredible amount of credit card debt I need to fix. And my warranty is about to expire.
Oh,
Before I had won a trip to a cruise ship.
Lucky you.
Yeah, those were all the voicemails I've been getting.
there's so many great options I'm learning from you folks and our listening audience as to what I can do with my cellular telephone as far as ringtones and text tones. I've never taken the time to look inside this thing, and I'm holding my cell phone in the air. I've never taken the time to explore all of what's possible. And plus, I don't want to have to give them any money. But it's great. It's great. Great to know that that stuff is out there, and maybe one of you can show me what's up. Because I would love, really, I think, and I'll probably change my mind a dozen times on this, especially after I get a chance to read all the text messages from our listeners. I'll probably change my mind a dozen times. But right now, that fatal karate kick from the Olympics a few years ago, I would like that to be.
Oh, my word.
This is medical device. Jesus wants this.
Wimbayami?
That's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Nick, a good ringtone would be Our Truth, his theme song. People over here, what's up?
That was a great
Say,
song.
what's up?
It was easy to remember the lyrics when our truth entered the ring. It was easy to remember the lyrics to his song, What's Up?
Other suggestions for the Costco internet or intercom fart? Sure.
Classic.
How about it? All right, what else is going on around here? It's Wednesday.
Your favorite day of the week.
Toys for Tatas coming up in a couple of days.
The girls from Rick's are going to visit us tomorrow morning.
Wonderful.
Late tomorrow morning, they're going to be jumping in to talk
Is
about
that
it.
right?
That is correct.
The girls from Rick's Cabaret. Yeah, you're now only 2 days away from the big party, our big holiday kickoff, topless charity toy drive. So, I mean, it's a code red. If you haven't figured out what the hell you're doing yet, it's time because we need you there Friday morning. We need your unwrapped toy so we can pass it on to a kid who could use a friggin' break just for once over the holidays. Bring in that unwrapped toy. Keep in mind, kids of all ages, you'll get free admission, you'll get the free food, and we'll have a friggin' good time. Josh and I have decided that we're going to go into the VIP room.
Yeah, well, we decided after all the begging they did, all the girls.
The girls did a lot of begging.
I don't know how they got our numbers. Just beg, please spend all your day, the whole day in the VIP. No, we can't do that.
We've decided we're going to find ourselves a VIP booth.
Because we are good people.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to live it up. There's one rule for the rest of you. No eye contact with Josh and I while we're...
Okay, that's fine.
There's no eye contact.
I don't want to know what's going on in that room.
I was thinking of inviting you over for a few minutes. I guess maybe not now.
No, that doesn't seem safe.
You would enjoy, you would love the VIP room.
Yeah, you would.
Think? Really?
And I bet you wouldn't have to pay a dime.
Oh, that would be nice.
I bet you'd pay nothing.
I was thinking of asking Ashley to join us over there, but I guess she thinks we're... That'll be Friday morning.
I was just thinking about some of the girls we've had in over the years. Had some regulars, right? Some good friends, Hunter, Coco, plenty over the years. Some of those girls from like the inaugural Toys for Tatas are probably on Social Security at this point. We've been doing this thing for so long.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy to think of.
I know it is.
I mean, there were times that, like when we first started, there was a couple older than me, and now there's no way that's going to happen ever again.
It's like when suddenly one of your best friend's kids turns 30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go, wait a minute, what the hell is going on around here?
When I started to feel old is when professional athletes were kids to me. I remember, when you're a kid looking up to these professional athletes, they seem old. And now they're so friggin' young. It's crazy.
Well, how old do you think some of the first X-Girls are right now, too?
They're old.
Yeah.
They're older than the hills.
Yeah, same thing.
Most of them probably haven't lived this long. Really. I mean,
there was in the early days of X-Girls especially.
I would imagine a few of them are deceased and have been for a number of years.
Yeah.
If Josh and I think back to the early days in 93X, and the way everyone operated around here, especially our ex-girls, many of them have passed on.
It was different back then.
It was very different.
Here's your key fob. Here's your station badge. Here's your cocaine.
Right.
It was crazy.
Here's a case of beer and the keys to a car. Good luck. But that is bizarre to think, Josh, how many years have gone by. Coco, Hunter, are two of my favorite ladies.
Oh, yeah.
It's been so long since I've been a regular down there that I don't really know where these ladies are at. I haven't talked to either one of them in a long time.
We had Cherry Bomb in for a couple of years. I don't know if she works there still. I mean, that's I go to a strip club once a year, and that's it, right? Going to the Toys for Tatas thing.
Jax, Janie. I'm trying to think. Man, we had a lot of fun hanging out with Jax and Janie. They were kind of a terrible twosome there for a while. And I know I'm forgetting some others, and I'm going to feel terrible about it.
Yeah, me too.
But Lord above. Yep. It's like when you talk to your old high school buddy, and he says he's going out with his son for his 35th birthday. And you go, what in the balls has happened?
Yeah, I also, when my older two, when they started joining us at our events, when they, just thinking back to when they're kids, they couldn't go to a lot of these. Now they can show up. It's so different. One wire nut Jesus said one of the past ex-girls is his real estate agent.
Oh, wow. I'm glad she's doing good.
Yeah.
She beat the odds.
I gotta know a name.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
She beat the odds. And also just the change in ex-girls over the years. Remember there was the one year where we thought, did they tattoo girls on the way in?
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. All of a sudden, all of them were heavily tatted, not just one or two.
We've been here long enough to where we were here before the tattoo explosion took over America. You're right. Suddenly, I thought, where did all this ink come from? Really, honestly. It became a thing. Suddenly, everybody was sleeved out around here. What can you do? That's how time operates. So there you go.
We're getting a lot of requests for some of the clips we play around here. Just if you email me, 93xjosh@gmail.com. I'll send you whatever you want. Just let me know what you want, and I can send it to you, no problem.
That's how you were raised. Certainly, that's how you were raised. Oh, wow. Well, there you go.
For a small fee. I forgot to throw that in. For a small to relatively very expensive fee.
And the Social Security number.
Never free.
Cubby's got to eat, too. Coming up later on this morning, hopefully the guy ain't too worn out. Just played a game last night. We'll be talking to Marcus Polino from the Minnesota.
That'll be awesome. I love that guy.
Bear Pigs.
I was going to say surprise. Maybe that's not the right way to put it. I guess it was unexpected how cool he was going to be.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy.
I just want to go back to something. I said a small to relatively expensive fee. It's more of a subscription service that you'll be signing up to with a 2-year agreement.
Holy balls.
2-year agreement?
Yeah, 2-year agreement.
Gosh.
And a heavy cancellation fee.
Yearly payments.
Yeah, and make sure you read all those terms of service, too.
Yeah.
No, don't read them. Whatever you do, don't read them.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
Today is some kind of kissing holiday. It's a kiss.
Remember your first kiss day.
Kiss the oldest coworker. in the room day. That's what it is. Kiss the oldest coworker in the room.
All right, Nick, get over here.
No, you get over here.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
The
old.
oldest
He can't-
coworker. Yeah, he doesn't come to you.
And that's
Finally, yes.
despite the fact that there's a window separating us, it's an incredibly long walk to get
Yes,
to
it
that
is.
door from where we're at.
Yep.
What is the holiday again?
Remember your first kiss day.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Okay.
I got all my milestones done in one. So my first kiss was also the girl I lost my virginity to, and it was all in the same session.
Oh, wow.
I got it all over at
One
once.
fell swoop.
Yep.
Talk about a trial
crazy.
by fire.
Yeah.
Really?
So, because I was trying to think,
You had
obviously knowing
never-
this topic would come up, I was trying to think, I'm like, I don't really have a very memorable first kiss. I'm like, oh, I know why, because it was all in one. And of course, I'm paying attention to the losing the virginity more than the first kiss.
And you were 19?
18. Please, come on. You're acting like I was really old when I lost it. I was 18. Yeah,
And
I was 2 months
That's
after.
great. You had never kissed a girl up until the night you lost your V card.
Yeah, not a real kiss.
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
So, like, if you consider a real, like, passionate kiss
Yeah.
outside of a family member,
That's really
this was the first, person that
That's a hell
I
of a
didn't
s-
share a gene with.
hell of a story.
Yeah, that's really interesting, John.
Hell of a deal.
Usually people, work their way up to that couple
And,
years.
and everything in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiss was the start.
Yep. I got
Penetration was the close, and everything else in between were all first for you in one night.
Yeah, so it was first base, second base,
Which is,
touching
yeah,
the ladies,
boobs.
her breast.
Third base.
Yep, there was some
Right.
third base. So third base in me and Nick's generation is hand stuff.
Right.
It seems like now it's mouth stuff.
Yeah, and then second would be hand stuff.
Yeah, they're doing it all wrong, the young people. But that is so. What a hell of a night, man. You must have been exhausted when it was all over, mentally and physically.
Really?
That's like hitting for the cycle in your
Yeah.
MLB debut.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I'll say, even though I was 18, to be honest, I wasn't ready. Even at 18, I was so sheltered, and there was so much guilt and everything. To the point I told my dad I felt so guilty about it.
Friggin' Catholics, man.
I know.
Friggin' Catholics.
I really thought I'm going to hell. I mean, I was, I was kind of tore up about it. But at the time, this girl was actually pursuing me, and I couldn't believe it. Like, she was the one that was super aggressive. And I thought, well, I'm 18. I might as well get. All my buddies had already lost their virginity. Maybe I'll have a story out of this. But I was so nervous, I had to fake an orgasm.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the one and only time I ever had to do that. I figured it out after the first time. But it worked out for me because I got a wonderful reputation in school
Oh, sure.
where they called me the Energizer. And it took me a second to figure it out. But back in the day, the Energizer Bunny just kept going and going and going.
You
And
were
that was-
pumping back and forth like a sewing machine because you just couldn't get her done.
Yeah, and I had this reputation of being this, like, great love maker, but it was just I was too scared.
So you took advantage of that reputation by hooking up with every girl in school, right?
Well, the ones that, after that, it didn't take long to get a real girlfriend. This wasn't a girlfriend. It was just kind of a one and done thing.
Yeah.
Word.
So, it was, it worked out for me. It's kind of like when we went on a couple of work trips. The first work trip, I got chocolate wasted. I mean, I was just so hammered.
You were hammered.
And then we go back the next year, and everyone's like, "Yeah, Mr. Party Guy, we're gonna get wasted again." I had this reputation. That was like a one-time thing for me to
Right.
get that out of control. And it was, certainly my fault, but it was a promotion based around drinking, paid for by a tequila company. So they're just not forcing it down your throat, but forcing it down your throat.
More or less.
They're
As soon as when it's half
encouraging it.
done, they're giving you more, giving you more, giving you more.
So today's the day we are to think back to our very first kiss. Yeah, I remember.
How old were you?
I mean, I was a little kid.
Well, so kindergarten, so I was, 5 or 6, was the first time I ever kissed a girl. We're like, hey, we're boyfriend, girlfriend. But again, it was very innocent.
I remember who she was because she was one of my buddy's sisters. We were just little kids, but we tried to mimic passionate kissing, and then maybe I should stop talking at that point. At this point is how I should say it, because we tried all kinds of things that we shouldn't have tried for our age. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to take a guess, first grade or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty young.
We tried everything that we thought sex was about. You know what I mean? But we didn't know what we were, just little kids playing around, you know.
I was in 5th grade when I had like my first kiss, but it was middle school when I had my first like real kiss.
Tongue and everything?
Tongue, yeah.
Middle school, okay.
Yeah, I was in the same
I,
timeline as Ashley. First, just kind of like pecking was elementary school. Then, like the first, like it was a big deal when you're like, oh, are they gonna French? We would call it, yeah.
I do remember when after me and the boyfriend in middle school, like, you know, made out. That was the first boy I did other stuff with. I wasn't considered a woman yet, or whatever they say, because my time of the month wasn't happening. Well, it happened maybe like a week after that, and I remember going to my mom because I thought that I was pregnant or got an STD just from like kissing people and like doing stuff under the shirt. I was like, this is it? Oh my gosh, my life is over.
You know, I remember having real fear hit me. I mean, we were so young and so completely clueless. So, again, this was one of my buddy's sisters. This was a close family. We hung out with this family all the time. And so our parents, both mine and this girl's parents, they weren't morons. They were totally on to how she and I kept ducking into bedrooms and ducking into closets as tiny little kids, kissing and touching each other and silliness like that, right? Our folks were totally on to it. One night when we were all having dinner together, my dad made a joke at the dinner table about me and this little girl. My dad said, you know, when these two get married, we should blah, 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 blah. It was just a joke, right? And the adults all laughed. I thought, oh, my God, I have to marry her? I was just a tiny little kid, but I thought, oh, God, we've been kissing and we've been trying to do other things, totally, you know, fumbling, clueless as to what. But I thought, oh, Jesus Christ, I really got to.
You better start saving up for a ring.
I don't even have a job. I'm a second grader, whatever I was. You know, it was frightening. I didn't catch on to the sarcasm, and I thought, my God, my single life is already over. You know?
That's adorable.
Now, long-time listeners know that, Wapple, you lost your virginity at the age of 24, right?
Yes.
Okay. What about your first kiss?
First kiss was 4th grade, but that was, you know, like just
we're talking about
passionate
kissing.
Like
kiss.
a romantic tongue, everything.
It would have been 22.
You were 22.
Yeah.
This is a great question from a listener. Does kissing a picture count?
Oh, if it does, then I got to change my answer.
Does anyone remember kissing a picture? Well,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, as a poster specifically, but yeah, I made out. I made out with Janet Jackson.
You made out with a Janet Jackson poster.
Oh, heck yeah.
That's a nice one. Mine was Jesse McCartney.
Oh, God.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know who that is.
Is that the guy the Vikings just drafted to play quarterback?
No, that's J.J. McCarthy.
One-hit wonder from the 2000s.
Never heard of the guy. Anyone else kiss a picture?
Oh, yeah. Tori Wilson.
Tori Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
And
anybody get further than just kissing that picture?
Cut a hole in the Sears catalog.
The Sears catalog. That's all we had. Sears catalog, JCPenney catalog, and National Geographic. That's where the good stuff would be.
I don't recall kissing a picture, but I do remember, and I've told you about this, kissing the television screen as a little boy. When Debbie Boone, it wasn't even that long ago, we talked about Debbie Boone. Debbie Boone and Olivia Newton-John, when they came on television, I would kiss and lick the television screen if no one was looking.
Anybody practice on anything like a pillow or a mirror? Or
no
like
practicing.
Yes, yep, practice on a pillow.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, definitely on a pillow. I
was
remember that.
so afraid of being a bad kisser because I heard other boys like talk about girls in that way, like, oh yeah, she was such a terrible kisser. She won't stop biting my tongue. And I was like, oh, that cannot be me.
Boss Lady Sheeza said the first time a guy kissed her, he had a mouthful of stickers. It was awful. So they must have been pretty young, I'd imagine. I would hope.
He had rubber cement in his mouth.
He just got done eating some Elmo stickers or something.
Did you know kids that would eat stickers?
I knew some paste eaters, but never a sticker eater.
Mouthful of stickers.
Crazy.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show Backtracks.
I feel pretty good about this. I do. It's 93X Rock. It's early in the morning. Welcome back to the Half-Assed Morning Show. Creeping up on 8:32. We are. Does everyone know about this, Josh? 9 Inch Nails coming back to town?
They are. And I know there's a few folks in the building that are pretty darn excited. I've seen them once.
Oh, me too.
I think we might have been there together.
Many years ago.
Was this at Roy Wilkins?
No.
Okay, then it wasn't us together. They did that one.
They're coming back to town on their Peel It Back tour. What are they going to peel back? Skin?
Oh, I don't know. The layers.
Yeah.
They'll have something on the screens in the background disturbing.
Usually in the background there's a video of a cow tipping over in a field and dying. And then,
And like rotting very fast. They speed up.
Yeah, and then some kind of surgery.
Yeah, usually there is, right?
Yeah, and then it goes.
You know what I think happened? Somebody that runs Guantanamo, they wrote stuff down and like, oh, yeah. Let's add that to the video. 9 Inch Nails, they're very inspirational.
And then there's a video of like a starving three-legged dog limping down a street, and then they cut to... Anyway, 9 Inch Nails is coming back to town this summer, August 17th, coming to the X. That's where I saw him years ago, Josh, was at the X ski.
Oh. Yeah. How are they in a... It was fun seeing them in a smaller venue.
I was so high.
Were you really?
Tickets go on sale... What's that?
Probably ecstasy?
No.
That seems like that's the drug you'd want to see one of their shows on, right? Ecstasy?
As long as you can get your hands on some by August 17th, we're going to be in good shape. Tickets go on sale next Wednesday.
Ashley, you're my plug.
At noon.
I'll hook you up.
Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text pigs. See, that worries me. Does that mean they're going to peel the skin back of a pig?
Oh.
Live in concert?
Probably.
It's the Peel It Back tour, bro.
That'd be pretty cool.
You could make pork rinds then.
Text the keyword text pigs to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win tickets before you can even buy them to go see whatever they have planned on the 9 Inch Nails Peel It Back tour at the X. Again, tickets go on sale next Wednesday. Visit our website for concert and ticket information.
Question.
Yes.
Is there pork in pork rinds?
Don't know.
I thought it was deep-fried skin of pig.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I guess I have no idea.
Because I remember as a kid thinking there was grasshoppers and grasshopper pie, and I never ate it for that reason. Until one of my uncles slapped me in the face and said, "You're an idiot." So pork rinds I always assumed was just kind of like a chip of some sort.
Right across your moneymaker.
Yeah. I had it coming.
All right. Ashley here. I hate to always pick on you, but you set yourself up.
Oh, no, what'd she do?
Oh, no.
You know how earlier we were talking about work, weren't we? We talked about this. We talked about that. We talked about the one coworker who doesn't do Dick Tracy. Sometimes they gain themselves a fun nickname. Ashley, trying to get us to stop busting her chops, she presented this information a day or two ago. She says there was a study done.
Now I know.
You're going to like this, Josh. She's trying to get us off her case. There was a study done, she says, that basically says that your coworkers don't give a if you're late to work. Come on.
Dude, when I saw that
Take your medicine, will you?
When I saw that headline, I was like, oh, I'm going to click on that so hard.
A study says that your coworkers don't give a damn if you're late to work. That's not true.
Well, it's not in the, I think in like the more you read, it's just not in the top 5. Like it's not something they care about more than other things.
You have to just accept that you are not a reliable employee.
This is the only place that's ever been an issue. I was always, because I was taught, my mom always taught me if you're not early, you're late. And I was always like 15 minutes early everywhere else, but
Josh said we'd like to see a little bit of that, he said. Some company called Monster asked 1,000 people what's the most important workplace manner. And only 14% of employees cited punctuality as the most important manner.
it's not the energy drink company, by the way, Monster. I got excited. I thought that's what it was.
Oh, no, it's the job hunting site, right?
Yeah.
That would make more sense.
Why are they doing this study? Interesting.
Thank you to the Brother and Sisterhood. There is fried pork skins. You were right, Wapple, in pork rinds. And I'm being told there's no turtles in turtle cheesecake. No real turtles.
What?
Darn it.
Which is
I don't believe
unfortunate
that.
because I like turtles.
I know
As you guys
do.
know, I like
know that we have the audio to prove it. So Ashley's basically trying to tell us, Josh, hey, don't worry about it when I'm late. Nobody cares, she says.
Well, this is the only reason why it was carried around here. And you've changed. You've turned over a new leaf.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you'd get here and it would take you like 5 minutes to realize we were on the air. You're just kind of zoned out trying to get in the mood to do it.
Oh, yeah, that was rough when I had that really long drive. Yeah, because it was about an hour, I think.
God, I still can't believe you did that.
So you're
About
still
an
zoned
hour.
out from the car.
Yeah, still in car mode.
There you go. That's the cute trick Ashley's tried to pull here the last couple of days. Do you know many folks who are an only child?
Not many.
Not many.
Well, okay, no. There was one friend
One or
of mine.
two?
His brothers were so much older than him. He was essentially an only child,
Okay.
like raised in a house where he was the only kid.
I have a few friends that grew up the only child.
I can only think of one right now.
You can tell, too.
Okay, let's play that game then, because that's where I'm going with this. Ashley says you can tell. All right, and I'm going to try to think of the one person that right now has come to mind, the one person from my life that is an only child, and we'll see if this all plays out. People on social media are talking about the dead giveaways that someone grew up as an only child. Here's what they say. Some of this stuff is kind of strange. I can't tell if they're joking here. They cut a piece of cake in two and can't immediately tell which is bigger?
Well, that's got to be a joke,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's a joke?
It's got to be because you know how like I had my brother, my sister, my cousin who grew up like an older brother with me, and yeah, when there's cake or whatever, you're very aware.
Yes.
Whoa, why is his a little bit bigger?
That's true.
Yep.
That's very true.
Oh, or if you got a pizza delivered and the slices weren't all the same size. I want that one. That
Right.
one has one more piece of pepperoni.
Okay, so this is a joke, but also maybe it makes
could be something to it.
Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
something to it. An only child cuts a piece of cake in two and can't tell which is bigger because they never had to care. They're great with people's parents because they grew up chatting with adults. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. Sure, there's my friend his parents were much older. I would like when we were in high school, his dad was in his 70s, right?
Okay.
And so he was awesome with parents
I got
and adults.
a couple buddies who are headed in that direction. By the time their kids are in high school, they're going to be friggin' 70.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
that
Yeah,
was
go ahead.
my life.
So, what were you saying
He
about
was always a parent's favorite.
Okay.
And he wasn't like an Eddie Haskell for you, me, and 5 other people who get that reference. But he was just a genuinely nice guy, and he was so good with talking with people who were older. So that is exactly right.
I've gotten that quite a bit, and I think it's because there's a big gap in me and some of my brother's ages.
What's
So
the
I was-
closest?
So the closest, the only one that's close is my brother Nicholas. He's 29. I'm not sure. How old am I? Yeah, okay, he's 29. And then the next brother is in his 40s. So
Ex-Hotel Jesus is an only child. So let us know. Text back and let us know if any of this rings true for you.
Yeah. You got her lined up on the text machine. Let's see what she says. The dead giveaways that someone grew up as an only child. And wow, thinking about it, I mean, obviously I could come up with a few drawbacks, but just now thinking about it, boy, my life would have been a hell of a lot easier if I would have been an only child. I've told you, I like my sister a lot, but I could have, and maybe I should have killed my brother when I had the chance when we were 12.
I also like your sister a lot. Insomniac Jesus, and this I could tell you is very true. Only children don't eat as fast as kids with siblings. Yeah, we race through it because
Yep.
the commune.
You don't have to hurry.
Between the cousins and my brother and my sister and then my uncles. I mean, if you wanted seconds, you had to go so fast. And I've slowed down. I've learned to slow down. But yeah, up until just a few years ago, I was crazy
what the heck?
fast.
Now I'm wondering if that's why my fiance eats the way he does.
Oh, what? Your
It's
fiance is
ridiculously-
an only child?
No,
Oh.
no, he grew up with the brothers, though. He
so
eats ridiculously
eats
fast.
fast, yeah.
Gross.
One uncle, he like hovered over his plate so you couldn't get anything in there when he wasn't looking. Because that's the other thing. If you look to the left, somebody on the right, they're taking a piece of steak or whatever it is.
That's crazy, dude.
According to this conversation online, only children struggle with conflict. It's all or nothing. People with siblings know how to negotiate and share and when to pick your battles. Did I say that right? Know how to negotiate a share. Who wrote this? Like some college professor or something trying to show off. They're basically saying the trait of an only child, another trait of an only child is they're just not good with conflict because they don't have experience in the field.
I think, too, you're better at taking crap because you're just
100%.
destroyed by your siblings. And so, I think for me, it was probably good. I mean, I think it's kind of good.
You grow a thick skin.
Oh, yeah.
You get tough.
Yeah, because whatever somebody else says is like, yeah, I've heard much worse from my siblings.
That makes perfect sense. If you're an only child and you're just sitting around the house with mom and dad and all they do is coddle you, you go to school, someone calls you pizza face, and you come uncorked.
Yeah.
Because you've never been insulted so deeply in your life.
I think that's gender specific, though. Like if you grew up with all sisters, and like you're the only boy, I've heard that's not usually the case. Like if you have brothers, that's when you get it. That's when you're used to being treated like garbage at home. But
Well, there's something to be said for that, right? We have some experience. I mean, Wapple.
Yep.
oh, I
Ross?
forget that you're the only dude.
Ross, same thing. Our former coworker, Ross.
We're
Oh,
talking
he
Yeah, I
about
was pretty much
was?
left alone by,
Now we're
my
talking
sisters
about-
always fought, and then I was just off on my own.
we're talking about being the only dude in a family full of sisters?
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose, sure.
Grover, before Wapple was born, Jesus said he's an only child, and so far all this tracks.
All right, how about this one? Grover before Wapple Jesus. Only children get unreasonably angry about group punishments. They come off all like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Why am I being punished? People with siblings are more nonchalant about it. Yeah, only children never dealt with that full parental meltdown where they just lock the doors and nobody's going anywhere.
That sucked.
A lot of this is food related. We already covered this. They eat their food leisurely. They're comfortable leaving their Halloween candy in the kitchen. Their roughhousing skills are below par. Roughhousing skills are not up to par. They have a stronger aversion to gentle bullying. We kind of covered that. They're more content being alone for extended periods of time.
That makes sense.
Being alone has evolved into one of my favorite things in the entire world.
I feel so bad. My fiance got home from work early yesterday, and I got mad, and I felt so awful. It's like, I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry. I was just in like the flow of doing my own thing. I had like a specific plan of what I was going to do before he got home, and I was like, why are you home so early? What the heck? He's like, oh, all right. Well, I'm happy to see you.
Have you one day you and your fiance will reach the point where you're completely comfortable sitting in separate rooms all day, every day?
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
We like being next to each other still.
No, I don't have that problem.
The half-assed morning show backtracks. The 93X half-assed morning show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
Be careful now. What profession or career field tends to attract the weirdest people? Now, my easy answer is radio.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate answer.
Yeah, there is. I have met a lot of weird people through this.
I have met more dangerous morons here at work than any bar or anywhere I can think of. Now, obviously, this is the only friggin' place I've been for the last almost 30 years. But and I've said it many times, I really do think that when it comes to just bizarre individuals, I find it really hard to believe that a profession can keep up with radio.
Well, I think, just like you, I've been here longer than I haven't. And for my friends that I've
Isn't that freaky to say that out loud?
It is weird, yeah.
You've been here longer than you haven't.
Oh, wow.
Sorry to interrupt. It's an interesting side note, but go ahead.
So I've told stories, certainly shared stories with friends about our workplaces, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard going, how does that happen? How does that person remain employed?
Oh, I hear that all the time.
That doesn't happen at real jobs.
If they worked anywhere else, they would be fired. Oh, I'm aware. I'm aware of that.
Every single Charlie I know has told me that hundreds of times.
I knew this would be a thing. The text machine has gone sideways on us. Again, what profession or career field tends to attract the weirdest people?
I was at
Be careful now.
I know. I was at one of those places that exist for kids where they've got like arcades, they've got bumper cars, rock climbing, all that stuff that kids love.
Sure, the play zone.
And it was really dead in there on this day, so I was really observing the employees, and I think that would be a place where weirdos work. The vibe I was getting from the employees was kind of.
So you're saying child care attracts the weirdos?
I thought it was a little weird. I looked around and I thought these people would probably never be in one place outside of this working environment.
Did you happen to pass this information on to any of the parents there? Hey, look, the folks who are working here look a little squirrely to me. Did you pass that on to anybody, or you kept it to yourself?
Well, it was for my nephew's birthday party, so yeah, I told people.
Ashley says child care.
I was like, what is the vibe you guys are getting around here? Because this is the vibe I'm getting.
Well, I do know one guy, but this is one guy, so I'm not going to agree with you, but I do know one guy who got hired to watch after kids, and for Christ's sake, I don't know how he got that job.
Didn't he lose a kid?
Yes, the kid was he was in charge for a half hour, and they found the kid walking down a highway.
Wasn't it like the only kid he was supposed to take care of?
Yes, he had one child to watch after. This wasn't at a play zone like Ashley was describing. This was at a legitimate child care building. Don't know how he got hired, but he got on MySpace one afternoon and forgot about the one child he was supposed to, and the kid was walking on a highway. Goodbye. You no longer work here, they said.
The top 3 answers from texts have come in so far on what jobs attract weird people. The top 3 would be mortuary employees, politicians.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, you got to be pretty self-absorbed.
And
the forgetful. Because I forgot the third already.
Oh, you did?
Where was that?
Was it show me?
I'm reading new ones.
Show me carnival worker.
Yeah,
Carnival worker came out. That one showed up, but what was?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Show me. I can't think of any other professions where I find people to be a little weird.
I'm a little insulted that Carney was on that list because I used to work in the business.
You weren't a real Carney. You worked in the Mall of America.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Carney's travel in a bus and sleep overnight up against the squirt gun machine.
You worked the frog hopper.
Yeah.
When I worked at the fair, sometimes, obviously, late at night, employees would mingle with each other, and the Carneys were They were odd, but honestly, the most fun people to hang out with.
Oh, I bet they're
Very
pretty
fun bunch of
fascinating,
people.
Well, lots has changed. When I say carnies sleep in a bus and fall asleep up against the balloon dart machine until the following morning, and then they start hollering right away for money. Lots has changed. That was the carny when I was a kid. Nowadays, when you go down, what do they call that? The Midway nowadays at a county fair state, they're much different, at least in my opinion. Would you agree, Josh?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
It's a lot of younger kids.
There was a reason why we were horrified as young kids to walk down the Midway. There was a real reason.
Here we go. Temps. That was the third one. That's the number one answer.
That's
a good one.
That's a great answer.
That's really good.
As a young person working warehouse jobs, I had experience with temps, and there were some that just, you couldn't believe that they were real human beings.
We've had people here who were temps, but they weren't supposed to be when they were hired. Just didn't last very long.
I told you about the guy who slept in a tree.
I love that guy.
Was he the same guy that ate a baby bird or
No.
crushed up some ants or something? Smoked some ants?
You're confusing.
These are different guys. That's too bad that it's different guys.
The dude who swallowed a baby bird, he was not a temp. He was just a dude. And you're thinking of the guy who we forced him to smoke.
Wasn't it crushed up beetles or
crushed
something?
up
Box elder bugs?
No, horseflies.
Oh.
What?
I like how Josh says that's unfortunate. It wasn't the same guy.
It is unfortunate.
Brad, you know, it's like Ashley and all the Charlies she knows. She knows some odd folks.
They should all be the same. We'd be much safer if they were all the same person. The folks that work at, how do you say it? Like, because I don't want to directly name the joint. The folks that work at historical places. Yeah, I can't come up with it.
Oh, like
they're swinging swords and they got chainmail on and they're LARPing and they're
yeah, people are texting in like Renfest type stuff.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
As far as career fields that tend to attract the weirdest people.
You could probably say any of those performance types jobs.
See, I wish you would have said
like some sort of themed anything.
Themed performance type occupation. You're so well spoken.
No, I don't think so.
You're well spoken.
There's some people that they really take it more seriously than perhaps a person should.
I'll tell you this much: I had a guy come over and fix my pinball machine the other day.
Exactly what you expected? No.
You know, it's funny. You predicted it, and then you came back and said how right you were.
I was actually surprised to see you the next morning. I was thinking, there's over a 50-50 chance he's a goner.
A little off tilt was this pinball fixer.
Dude. All right, we got to take a break. And we got to check the text. Of course, we have to, because a lot of you are texting in your opinion on what career field tends to attract the weirdest people. Pickle vendors? What the hell's a pickle?
Actually, that one I just saw in the crack.
Pickle
oddly specific.
I love those guys.
At the Renfest, they're pretty funny.
Oh, I don't. That's a million penis jokes.
Yeah.
Right there. Like a Renfest, for lack of a better example, but that's the best example. Yeah. Where you go and there's the guy that sells the pickles.
Oh, I don't know that. I didn't know.
Like, come take a look at my big pickle.
Oh.
Put my pickle in your mouth.
I didn't know.
Sell me a nickel and I'll let you tickle my pickle kind of vibe.
I didn't know. I did not know that person existed. The pickle vendor. Okay, fair
I want to be friends with those guys.
You know what our conversation here is going to cause today, Josh? I think it's going to cause some people to look in the mirror and say to themselves, am I really weird? A subject came up. What profession or career field tends to attract the weirdest people? And our listeners have cut loose on our text machine with their opinion on the topic. What profession or career field tends to attract the weirdest people? Let's start with submariners. Interesting.
Yeah, because you have to be okay, like being in a small little space for a long time, right?
You'd have to be mentally tough. It would maybe turn me into a maniac. I'm not so crazy about the water and being underwater.
I don't know if I'm buying that. You've met a couple of my cousins who were submariners.
I do know one submariner. I do know personally. I don't remember that. I did not remember that your cousins were.
Yeah.
The one submariner that I know well is a hilarious individual. That's just one listener's opinion. It would probably make me crack. Exterminators. Chasing after bugs all day.
You hear the chemicals and stuff. You hear the rumors and the jokes.
I didn't even consider that. You're huffing all that gas and whatnot all day long.
Although I got to say, we've had a couple over recently, and they were awesome.
Yeah?
Young guys. They were really cool dudes.
You didn't sense that they were a little weird?
Not yet. Maybe they hadn't been on the job long enough.
It makes me think of maybe those people that their job is to pick up a roadkill on the side of the road.
Oh, well.
I think you got to be a little weird to do that.
It's not my job, but it's my passion.
Usually, I think that's just city workers, and that's just part of the job.
Oh, I wouldn't.
As far
I
as I know,
do that.
as far as county or city, whatever. Okay, you spend again. These are our listeners' opinion. Our listeners' opinions on what professions make for some weirdos. You spend a lot of time alone, I would imagine. Park ranger. You're just staring off into the trees.
Yeah.
You're thinking thoughts that you should never think.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do that for
I could
a while.
hide lots of bodies out here if I wanted to.
I'm just considering the worst case scenario. I like this one. Porn store counter worker.
That's great. That's a
Meet
great
some interesting
answer.
people.
Yeah, I've definitely I've been in one or two of those places where I kind of wondered what was going on there.
The dude behind the counter at the porn shop.
Yeah, I can tell you one time in particular, I thought, he hasn't slept this entire month. He looked so exhausted.
You know what just dawned on me, Josh, as far as a particular gig that might make you weird? You and I are forgetting about the weirdest sumbitch. The dude who used to run the counter at that gas station down the street.
Oh, dude. Yeah, the overnight guy.
Holy buckets. Number one, it's a gas station. He's doing the overnight shift. Now, that did come into play here on our conversation about jobs that might draw in weird people. Someone said third shifters in any profession. I tried the third shift for a while, and I think there was something about the moonbeams or something about the lack of daylight. I'll admit, I was a little weird when I was a third shifter.
That was
Same
tough.
here,
I was a
Nick.
third shifter, too, and that was very difficult.
Mercury's in retrograde, all of that.
It's always in retrograde.
I wasn't right in the head. But the dude who worked that gas station, again, it's overnights at a gas station. He maybe saw 4 or 5 people in 8 hours. Josh and I were always 2 of those 4 or 5 people because we would always hit that gas station on the way to work at like 3:30, 4 in the morning. The guy dressed like Slash from Guns N' Roses, and he looked to be so unhappy and uninterested in the world around him. He gave me the willies every single time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, just once I wanted him to look at me. He was always looking down at whatever witchcraft book he was reading.
Right. Would never respond to hello, goodbye. And I always wanted to say, it's 3:30 in the morning on a Tuesday. Why are you wearing a leather top hat?
What?
But I didn't have the guts to. Okay. Here are some other entries from our listeners on professions that draw in weird people. Slaughterhouse folks.
Oh, yeah. That's
for obvious reasons. Hey, I'm not cut out for it. I met some slaughterhouse dudes on our fall booze cruise. Seemed like nice kids. They admitted it's not easy the first time, but you get used to it. Truck drivers, video game store employees.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes.
Have you gotten to look at those folks, Josh?
Yeah, I guess I didn't get that gist, but it's been a long time since I've been to one of those.
They are quiet, though, so that also adds to it a little bit.
Taxidermist, you're handling dead animals all the time. Real estate, hairstylist, eagle handler.
Some of the coolest people I've ever met were taxidermists.
The salvage yard guy. Oh. He always looks like he's plotting something, right? The salvage yard guy.
He wants somebody to break in so he can bust out his shotgun.
Give me a reason.
There's a couple of times you go to like one of those donation places where they look at you like they hate your guts. They can't stand you.
Psychologist. Interesting answer. Very, very smart people. I would imagine. I've never seen a psychologist. Maybe I should. But I would imagine they're very, very educated, very smart people. But Josh and I have always had the opinion, through experience, sometimes the smartest people that you know are also slightly bizarre, if not even more than slightly bizarre.
I can say for that, not a psychologist, but some sort of counselor. I can say just in one particular case, not speaking generally, but we were shocked that we found out that's what she did for a living. We thought, outside of maybe it takes one to know one type of deal, I have no idea how she was hired to do that.
You are right. We both mutually knew a gal who couldn't have been more odd and volatile.
Yeah, I mean, where cops were called on.
Yes, and she was a family counselor, I believe.
Yeah,
couldn't believe it.
She specialized in like divorce and stuff like that, but she had never been married. It was odd.
Goofy.
It was really weird.
I met the one time I ever saw a psychologist, not a therapist, like a real deal psychologist. When he came into the room, he was whispering to me the whole time. Like,
did he have laryngitis?
It frustrated me so much. I was like, dude, just talk like a normal person.
All right. On the topic of gigs that might draw in the weirdos, you like this one. The bar DJ.
Every time, without fail. Oh, my gosh.
I knew, obviously, through this gig, and doing bar gigs and whatnot, I got to know a couple of DJs pretty well. And, yeah, one of them was a little different. How about this answer, Josh? Housewife. Draws in some weirdos. It's a joke, everybody. It's just a rideshare drivers. Oh, I've had a couple that were real keepers, man.
I've never done that, never once.
I always get either the person that doesn't talk to you at all or the person that just wants to tell you everything about their whole entire
You never
life.
had any of them that really scared you?
No, thankfully not.
I've taken an actual taxi 3 times in my entire life.
Yeah, you don't have any experience with this, trust me. I've been a little worried once or twice. Landlords.
Yeah, I had a couple really weird ones.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. That's a great answer. Landlords. Anything sitting on your side of the room, Cubby?
You got them. Yeah. A lot of similar ones coming in.
That's very interesting. I dig it. How about this? I briefly dated a guy who was very into puppetry. What? And he seemed a little weird? You're lying.
Mm-hmm. Those marionette shows do kind of creep me out a little bit. Have you seen one of those, like at a town festival or something like that?
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I did see one at the state fair that was really, really cool.
Sometimes they do a great job.
Yeah,
for sure.
I just thought of that. So I was actually so drawn to the show because it did such a great job. I didn't really pay attention to who was running the puppets, but I mean, what a skill that is.
Absolutely.
But also, I bet you spend a lot of time alone. I'm just taking a guess.
Talking to yourself.
You spend a lot of, doing little character voices to yourself.
Oh, that makes me think of those people that do like stop motion type of films. So I think that's what it's called, where they have like it's animation and they have to just move the little figure like a millimeter and then take a picture. Those people got to be a little weird,
So they're sitting there for days on end?
Yeah.
Here's the truth. We're all friggin' weird.
Yeah, everybody's weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just in different ways.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
I read a headline a couple minutes ago. 1 in 5 young people can't change a light bulb?
What?
Is that for real?
I don't know if that's for real.
That
might be skewed a little bit because I was trying to think. Like I know for a fact my kids know how to change a light bulb, but I'm trying to think like the last time we had to change one.
Well,
Those LED bulbs last forever.
Exactly. That's what I was just thinking. You can go like 7 years without having to change a light bulb in some cases.
Is that right?
Yeah, we moved in 2019.
I guess I haven't bought those bulbs yet.
The LED ones?
No.
I mean, the other ones are kind of tougher to find, I've noticed.
Yeah, they are.
So you moved into a house in
2019.
Yeah.
And every bulb that was in there was LED, and we've never had to change one.
So is there a chance your son, more importantly, my godson, has no idea how to change a light bulb?
He's changed one just because his brother got him like a cool light changing one for his birthday or Christmas once, so he's done that. But as far as one going out and putting a new one in, it's been a long time.
This is the story going around.
I actually like the old ones better, personally.
They're dimmer.
I agree.
But they're a little tougher to find.
In a new survey, 1 in 5 young people, and when I say young people, I guess I mean between the ages of 18 and 27, claim. So it's not people pointing the finger and saying, I bet you can't. These are young people speaking for themselves, saying they couldn't change a light bulb, if they were asked to, they would hire someone else to do it.
Well, you know,
and avoid the embarrassment.
Usually it's people who are more affluent. A buddy of mine, somebody you know, he's a contractor, and for some of their clients, they do some stuff that's pretty, I think everybody else can do it in the world, but those people. Things like filling up their water softener salt and stuff like that. Like,
really?
Yeah, it's not something he normally does, but a client requests it. He's like, okay, I guess we can do that.
Dang.
I was going to say, well, a lot of younger people, if they have an apartment, they don't have to do all that work. You just call the maintenance person.
Oh, yeah, they come right
Good
up.
point.
I miss those days.
One wire nut, Jesus said, the other part of not changing light bulbs are less and less fixtures use bulbs. That's true. Now, a couple of ours don't use bulbs.
What the hell
it's
do
like
you...
built in, whatever it's built in to the light.
Really?
So I'm sure there's a way to change it, right? But
Dana, didn't you ask Josh for help once with a light bulb?
No, that was his toilet paper holder.
Yeah, it fell off, and I didn't know how to get it back on. So I asked Josh.
You mean the toilet paper holder, it fell out of the wall?
Yeah, it fell out of the wall.
You were unable to screw it back in?
It was one screw, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to do it because it was at a tough angle, and I was like, well, Josh might know.
What the hell were you? You were at Dana's place?
No, he sent me a picture.
I sent him a
He's like,
picture.
what do I do here? I was like, well, you see that little hole? Yeah, there used to be a screw there.
Go find this screw.
Find that screw and put it in.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
So, check this out. 1 in 5 people between the ages of 18 and 27, they go ahead and claim themselves, I don't know how to change a light bulb. They upped and said it. They would hire someone else to do it, especially if it was a ceiling light, because going up a ladder would be, quote, too dangerous.
I don't like going up a ladder. I get it. It's
I didn't have to
scary.
go up a ladder, but I recently had to change. So you know those long tube lights that are like 3 feet long,
incandescent.
Fluorescent.
Yeah, I had to
What
put
is
a
it?
couple. I had to put a couple of those up there the other day, and I was actually surprised that I didn't have to text Josh or anything. I was able to do it myself.
Well, those are the sketchy ones,
Like
right?
in
I'm
your basement?
Yeah, in the basement, in the back bar we have, and so now I have the dead ones, the ones that burnt out.
No, don't throw those away. Wapple and I have a match at the end
that's
of the
what I
month.
was gonna say.
Dub.
I
EC Dub.
I sent Wapple a picture of it. I said, "Bring your light bulbs to the parking lot tomorrow. We're gonna have an old school ECW hardcore match."
There's some in the garage back here, too.
Are there? Hell yes.
I took a picture of it and sent it to Dave.
Aren't those the ones that you're not supposed to break? I always heard
Yeah,
that.
only in a wrestling match.
Yeah, okay.
When
It's illegal if it's outside of a wrestling
Yeah,
match.
it's not environmentally sound
Yeah.
unless you have a hardcore match scheduled at the local armory.
Oh, I thought there were, there was rules on getting rid of those.
Yeah,
There are.
Your name's Joey Janela. You're jumping off of 2 stories
Right.
into a pickup truck
Yeah.
with a pallet of those.
I'm going to land on the tailgate of a pickup truck and lacerate my kidneys, but that's only for people who are familiar with the career of Joey Janela. You know, younger people, according to this report, they willingly admit they're just not familiar with some of these, what we would consider basic fixer-upper type projects. Younger people are spending more than $1,500 a year on average calling in pros to do basic jobs they could probably do themselves. I lust even making that phone call to hire someone to do something for me. I don't care if it's indoors or outdoors. Ooh, it turns me on to call someone else and say, will you do this for me? I'll give you money. I have some projects that I can handle myself, but plenty of others that I cannot. But
I'm so glad
if we're talking things like changing light bulbs and putting salt in your damn, what was the object you mentioned a minute
Water
ago?
softener.
Water softener. I mean, damn. But times have changed. People have changed.
The closest I've come to that is Brad Ryder, regular guest here on the show. He'll be joining us this morning.
Oh, God,
Randy
yes.
Shaver.
Yeah.
His son, when he played baseball in high school, they sold water softener salt. And part of it is you buy it from them. I think you pay a little more than you would otherwise. They deliver it, and they'll bring it to your water softener, just carry it down the stairs. That was pretty sweet. So I would order just an S-ton of that so I didn't have to do it.
It's heavy.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually something good that they're giving out. We just had like magazine subscriptions. God, that was the
Lame.
worst. And you had to walk door to door. Oh,
Or coupon books that nobody ever uses. Is basically just a $20 donation.
Yeah.
What were you hauling around, Wample?
Like just magazine subscriptions.
Okay,
So-
magazines, and Dana said...
What's that?
Dana said something else. Magazines and...
coupon books.
Coupon books.
Like,
Yeah.
like a happenings book.
Bring them to the match.
We've had,
We'll find a reason to mangle each other with those items.
the football team will sell some cards.
Yeah.
It's got,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You buy these cards for $20 or whatever it is, and you get a little discount at some local businesses. I don't think we've ever used one of those.
Never, ever.
We always have great intentions. I think, wow, what a bargain. Look at that. I can go to Houlihan's and get 10% off an app. And we've never used it.
All of this brings me back to a phone call I had with my brother, 15 years ago now. His son, at the time, was, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something. Maybe 12, 13. Anyway. And I'm not trying to knock the kid. He's a good kid. But I had a fairly large yard at the time. I still do, which was another one of the poor choices I made when it comes to buying homes, Josh.
A large yard?
Sucks.
Well, when you're a new homeowner, I know you're not a new homeowner, but
Right.
you don't think about some of that stuff.
I know.
Right? You're
I
like,
know.
wow, that is one straight up and down driveway. And you never think how much it's going to suck to shovel that thing. or
I
drive on it.
I never considered the size of the yard. And again, I grew up with a big yard, but I should have, when purchasing my own homes, I should have considered the yard. I should have considered the friggin' trees.
Yep.
Somebody come up with something to kill all the trees. Anyway, so I had a large yard. My brother's son is 12 or 13 years old. And so I had this bright idea, right? I called my brother and I said, if your kid wants to make some money this spring and summer, he can mow my yard. I'll give him 10, 15, 20 bucks, whatever. I don't care because I'm tired of mowing the friggin' yard. What do you think of that idea? What do you think I said to my brother, what do you think of the idea of your son coming over and mowing my yard? And my brother said, quote, he doesn't have that skill set. And I said, what?
Dang.
No, forget it.
My son and some of his buddies in the neighborhood, they started their own little company and walked around and put flyers in the mailboxes of all the neighbors just to do whatever people need you to carry something, mow lawns.
Have they
rake,
gotten a
stuff
lot
like
of business?
A little bit of business.
Raking.
Yeah.
Really? When did they start this?
It was last summer or last spring.
They got a crew and they...
Yeah, about 7 of them.
Do they got a catchy name for their company or anything?
Are you talking about the Business Bros?
No.
Cute.
Yeah.
Love that.
If you need some help and you're in our neighborhood, if you want the Business Bros to come over and, they're not going to clean your gutters. They're a little young for that, but they'll rake for you, stuff like that.
What kind of hours are they putting in?
You meaning just how many hours do they get total?
Like when the Business Bros head out, they're hired. They're heading out.
Yeah.
How long before you see them again? An hour, hour and a half?
Hours.
So they're doing all right.
Yeah. There's one old timer in the neighborhood. He's great. Like he's teaching them how to do stuff, and he's awesome about it.
Now
Like, no, that's not a good enough job. You got to get over here and do this. He'll stay on them. I have not hired them once.
Good for you.
I've given them no business. I helped them with their logo, and I wrote their little flyer and stuff.
You don't need to hand that kid any more money.
Josh actually started a rival company called the Maintenance Men.
Yeah, we take all their business.
Yeah. You go around, undercut them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Business Bros will do that for 20. We'll do it for 15.
I mean, when we were very little kids, probably first graders or something, my brother and I and our best pal at the time, you've heard about him many times, my brother and I and our best pal at the time, Pistol Pete from across the street, and Pistol Pete's older foster brother, we had a bright idea that we were going to go around the neighborhood with brooms and we were going to sweep all of the wasp and hornet's nests out of trees and whatnot. We were going to do that for the people in our neighborhood. That was going to be the service we were going to provide, and we didn't even ask for money. and we called ourselves the Bee Gees.
Nice.
So can you imagine a knock at your door in 1977 and 4 tiny little filthy kids from the neighborhoods would say, "Hi, we're the Bee Gees, and we see you have a wasp nest, and we will get on a ladder, and we did this for, 20 minutes, until Pistol Pete's foster brother was almost murdered by hornets.
Oh.
And we ran crying from the scene, and we were all horrified, and it was a one-day deal. We were the Bee Gees for maybe it was 2 days. I think it was on day 1, though, that Pistol Pete's foster brother was nearly killed.
Dude, that's terrible.
We were the Bee Gees, and we thought we were the next big thing.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This is a PSA, or public sock announcement. Experts have declared Bombas socks as the best way to warm up chilly feet. These pairs are super cushy, soft, and designed for maximum coziness. Plus, for every pair purchased, another pair will be donated, so someone in need of essential clothing can stay warm this winter. Go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Yesterday, I did something I haven't done in years. Haven't done it in years.
Can we guess?
Well, I told you, so you know. But pretend you didn't know the answer to it. What would you guess?
Well, we were talking a little bit off the air, so I'm going to go ahead and say that the answer is go to the airport.
Nope. Unfortunately, I've had to do that quite a bit recently.
All right.
Not a fan. That's a stressful situation.
Something you haven't done in years, and you claim to have given it away while we were talking off air. Oh, Christ. Now, if I don't have the answer, he's going to think that I don't pay attention to the conversation. You're going to think that I don't listen to you when we have conversations off the air, which is 100% inaccurate. The word I'm looking for is I cherish our on and off air conversations. Go ahead. I don't remember what you said, so dump
I gotta
it on.
guess.
Huh?
He finally pumped some iron again.
No, I pump a little iron here and there. So this is a guess from a listener. Sex. Nope. Although I thought I was going to get some last night. I'll have to explain that to you.
You sure as hell.
I was going to guess internet pornography.
I've never really done that. I've seen it from friends who have bombed my phone with
something he's never done before. Where he's going with this is something that he has done before, but he hasn't done it in years.
A while.
Who finally went number 2?
You're close. I urinated into a cup in my vehicle yesterday, and it's been a long time, a very long time since I've done that. I was at the airport, and I'm waiting to pick up my kid. And I'm sitting in a parking lot. It was delayed. I'm sitting in a parking lot, and I just got done drinking a giant pop. And so I was 40 minutes into it as I'm sitting there. I realized, oh, no, I got to go. And there's no place around to go. And I was right next to the airport. I didn't want to lose my spot.
Jesus, this kid of yours made you wait over 40 minutes for them at the airport?
Well, the airline. It wasn't her deal. And so I was sitting there, and I'm like, thank God for illegally tinted windows, because I was able to go right in that cup. Mm-hmm. I got a little nervous towards the top because, as you guys know, I can fill some volume when it comes to that. And so towards the top, I got a little nervous, but I kind of felt like a teenager again. It's been so long since I've done that.
Did you take it home with you? Did you dump it out the door when you were done?
I did. I brought it in case you guys wanted to see it.
So you put the cap on it? Oh, a cup.
Yeah, it was like a Chipotle large pop thing.
Couldn't you and your passengers smell it?
Oh, it's just me. I mean, I dumped it out before I picked her up, although she would have thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, you dumped it out before anyone got in the motor vehicle.
But I was, I don't know if you guys do this the older you get. Sometimes if there's a situation like that, I try and picture the headline. Grown man caught urinating in his vehicle, waiting for 22-year-old girl to step off plane. I kind of try and think, like, could this be a headline?
And,
is this going to ruin my life? But there was nothing I could do.
And being parked in line there at the airport, you were under surveillance.
Well, it wasn't actually in the line. It was a parking lot just adjacent to it, right?
Well,
but there
still.
were other people. I parked as far away from other people as I could. And like I said, I mean, if you can see in my windows.
You have illegally tinted windows.
Very, very, very dark. And this is the third time I've tinted them because I tested the waters with a little bit of illegal tint. And then I went middle ground, and eventually it's limo.
It got out of control.
It's ridiculous.
And I think it's interesting to point out, I don't know if we've discussed this yet live on air, why your windows are so heavily tinted. Isn't it because you just don't feel comfortable people looking at you?
Well, kind of. It was more, there's a particular area on the way in here this morning where people will come up to your vehicle when you're at a red light, right? And just kind of, I don't know, mess with you.
You get this a lot? You get to a red light and people walk up to your vehicle?
Quite a few times, yeah. Quite a few times at a particular area.
And so you just don't want these people to, is it like...
I've been left alone now. Versus like folks coming up.
Yeah.
If they're unable to see,
they don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah, if they're unable to see who's behind the wheel, maybe they'll assume the worst and not want to mess with you.
Yeah, and I was told, hey, you want a window tint prescription? I got a guy. Like I met a guy. I felt like I was meeting a guy in the back alley. He'd given me a hastily written phone number, so I went to the guy, right? And the guy's like, yeah, I don't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, no, I've got a eye condition. Wait a minute, write me that thing in case I get pulled over.
So he was kind of keeping it on the down low?
I don't know if the dude, he said, there was a time when I could do something like this. I can't do it anymore. So, I ended up paying for an eye exam and, got a new prescription.
You've got a big, beautiful truck. I mean, you had plenty of room to urinate in a cup. You could have laid down to do it. You could have stood up.
Yeah, you could live in that truck.
Yeah, it was no problem whatsoever.
You could have stood up.
The mechanics were very easy, and I wasn't too worried about anybody seeing. Like I parked towards the end, and it's so dark, that tint.
Well, at least you got it in the cup.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. I said, towards the top, I worried about it.
You know the story of my failure to execute an in-car urination from a number of years ago. That was embarrassing. But as far as I know, nobody noticed. I don't know how they didn't notice. I just soaked myself in my own urine.
Just like a fire hose.
It was. It was. It really was. It was horrible. This was many years ago. I God help us. I mean, I was such a heavy drinker at one point in my life that I was in Bloomington.
Oh, man.
Were you at like a Bennigan's?
No, it was a well-known joint. It had like a Caribbean vibe or something off of Normandale Boulevard. It was there for years. Billabong.
Billabong. Yeah, off 494.
494.
Yeah, I used to go there quite a bit.
Is it at Normandale?
It's a little east of that, yeah.
Okay, right. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. We used to go there all the time.
That's how... how easily I would throw all of my morals out the window once I had a few beers. I went to Bloomington, and I hate that town. Hate it.
I like Bloomington.
No one likes Bloomington. So I find myself at this Billy Bong's, and I'm drinking a lot, and hit it off with a lady. She lives nearby, and she says, let's wrap up these beers and go back to my place. And I agreed. Don't call the cops. Yes, I did drive drunk from Billy Bang's or whatever it was over to this gal's apartment. It was a couple miles away. Sorry, I've learned my lesson. I don't do that anymore, but I was young and wild. So
I'm sorry, just to interject real quick. I drove drunk a couple times. Like back in the day, I mean, you knew it was wrong, right? But it didn't seem like as big of a deal as it does today. I don't know, maybe just that's getting older. But Bloomington is also, the 2 times I ever drove drunk were in Bloomington, and that was the last time I ever drove drunk because I ended up parking in the middle of the street and trying to get into a friend's house, and I was across the street from where hung out with this friend almost every single day in Bloomington. So that's where I decided I got to quit. So it's interesting that was Bloomington too.
I think it's because when you enter the city limits, you say to yourself, I can't get any lower. What does it matter what I do? You know.
Maybe that's the case.
So this gal tells me, let's go back to my place. She gives me the address. She says, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And I said, great. So I leave. I get to her parking lot. And like I said, I was intoxicated. And as I pull in and find a parking spot at her apartment complex, there is a police officer parked in the lot. Okay, a little nerve-wracking, but I'll just sit here. I'll make myself invisible. I won't draw any attention to myself. And I'm sitting there, 10 minutes go by, 20, 30, 40. And this gal hasn't showed up yet, and the cop is still sitting there, and I gotta take a squeege. I mean, I've been drinking beer all damn day. So finally, I find an empty Mountain Dew bottle or something in the vehicle, and I just told myself, I have to do this. I have to execute the in-car whiz. I have to do my best to stay unnoticed by the cop.
Wide mouth?
No.
Those saved me back in the day.
No, it was just your typical.
Oh, that's almost impossible.
That's a tough shot.
So I haul it out.
And I'm small.
I haul it out and I press her. I press it as close as and I just made an unbelievable mess. I had, a little twitch, and it got loose. And then I'm going on my shoes, on my own pants. It got up on the dash. It got on my shirt. It was horrible, horrible.
Do you think if you were sober it would have been the same, or do you think the drinking had a lot to do with it?
Good question. I think even sober I would have had trouble.
That's what I had assumed.
Because it was ready to go. It's not an easy thing to do.
And you're right. If you've been holding it for a while, that's going to come out quick.
I soak myself and my motor vehicle in urine.
Ah, no.
Here comes Miss Fancy Pants, who promised me a hookup at her apartment. And then the cop leaves. So now, okay, I'm free to get out. But I'm questioning, do I even approach this woman now? I'm covered in my own urine.
No.
I did. I said, yes, I did. I got out, and I don't know. I don't remember if I sold her on any story. I think I just kept my trap shut and hoped
that's what I'd do, yeah.
And hoped that she wouldn't notice, and she didn't. And I'll tell you what, right now, Wapple, are you listening? Mm-hmm. We got it on. Nice. We got it the F on.
See, you and Fancy Pants got it on.
My boy Nick, he can close a deal. It doesn't matter how much urine his or whoever else's is on him. He can close that deal.
Well, look at him.
A lot of people have, it seems like even recently, had to do the same thing and take a leak in their vehicle or go to the bathroom in their vehicle. Steelers fan Jesus said he had somewhat of a same experience just this last weekend. He had to use his truck as an emergency bathroom. He mentioned everything went great until he realized he had nothing to wipe with. Door swinging truck driver Jesus said, now I'm a real trucker now that I peed in my vehicle. Dead hauler Jesus said it's a daily ordeal for him. Atheist Jesus said he pees in a big gulp cup while moving in his garbage truck 5 days a week.
Yeah, if you got a certain type of a gig, driving and such, you got no choice. It's a daily thing.
Catfishing Jesus also appreciates his tint for the same reason. He can take a leak in a Gatorade bottle when he has to.
And, I remember that night I was upset with myself that I couldn't handle the in-car urination in a plastic bottle because when we were little kids, we did it all the time. We'd go on these long fishing trips and whatnot with the old man where we would just be lying in the bed of his pickup. Number one, I'm telling you, our parents, it was always safety first, wasn't it, Josh? Always. We go all the way to Canada, and my brother and I are lying in the back of my dad's, how do you call it, pickup bed. Yes, a topper. Yes, he had created little beds back there for us to sleep on. But it's something that never entered my mind now. But, I mean, for Christ's sake, what if we would have gotten in a terrible car wreck?
Yeah.
We would have been in pieces, for
or
Christ's
even
sake.
just like a deer or something like that, too.
Well, sure, a car wreck, a deer can cause it. But when
like
we
I
were a
said-
kid, I could ace that every time.
Oh, could you?
The old man would never pull
Even
over.
while going down the road?
Yeah.
Yeah, a few people are saying that you haven't peed in your vehicle until you've tried to do it while driving. Now, that's something I've never done.
No, I haven't tried that.
That would make me a little nervous.
That's truck driver stuff right there. If my old man was still alive, I bet he could tell some stories on that.
And I was thinking back more Bloomington. A buddy of mine, he got a D-dub in Bloomington.
Bloomington sucks.
Last time I was pulled over, knock on wood, it was 1999, but it was in Bloomington. Maybe you're onto something.
I know I am.
Maybe you're onto something.
It's just a shady place, and it makes even straight-laced sumbitches like you, Josh, act shady.
Although, I got to say, their chief is one of the funniest chiefs in the history of police chiefs.
Yeah,
out
he's
there.
pretty good.
Booker Hodges? Yeah, have you seen? He's kind of he's like one of those Florida sheriffs, right? Like Grady Judd or something like that. Super, super funny dude. I love that guy.
He likes to make cute comments on social media.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah, he'll post videos, and he loves to just give criminals hell, right? I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, you get a kick out of that kind of a... All right. You heard some television news bloopers to start the program there. A walking, talking television news blooper. Janelle Klein will be stopping by around 7:30 this morning. She'll be stopping on by. Am I the only one who wonders what she sees in us?
Oh, dude, not at all.
I have no idea.
Since day one. I remember when we first heard she wanted to come on the show, I thought it was a joke. Like, Janelle Klein? No way. Yeah, I don't get it.
And she keeps coming back, too.
I know.
She pretty.
Very pretty.
She's well respected in the television news business. She's
classy. She's bright.
She's got all her own teeth.
As far as we know.
Josh, you used to be the upstanding citizen on this here radio program, and even though you still live the straightest life of any man I've ever known, Janelle still finds a way to outclass you.
Well, I don't think it's that tough to do. We do joke that we're very similar in a lot of ways, just our lifestyles. And
Yes,
stuff
you
like
are.
that,
The two of you are.
attitudes.
Ever tell you about the time I met a couple of her guy friends? I mean, this will give you even a better idea of how Janelle's not like the rest of us.
No.
Did I ever tell you about when I met a couple of her guy friends?
No.
Oh, I bet they wear like wingtip shoes. They just got the fanciest hair, nice suits and everything.
I don't know anything about shoes, but wingtip, is that something?
Shoes.
Is that a fancy current thing, or did you just...
It was on Grand Theft Auto. Cost a good couple $100.
Okay.
Dang.
So wingtip, I can say that, and people will know I mean classy, pricey.
Yeah, I don't own a pair.
Okay.
I don't own a pair.
Good. It just sounded like something out of 1955 there. Wingtip shoes. I didn't know if it was still. So, yeah, a number of years ago, Janelle and I are texting back and forth like on a Saturday night, and we found out we were in the same neighborhood. So I said, I'll swing over to where you're at just to say hello. And I walk in, and there's Janelski and two dudes. And the first thing I thought was, what's Janelle doing hanging out with two members of Duran Duran? I mean, like Wapple was alluding to, and some of you who are a little younger are saying, who's Duran Duran? But I couldn't come up with a better, give me an example of a hot boy band.
Today? I don't know.
Sure.
I can't.
We'll stick with Duran Duran.
Or go like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys.
These guys were so perfectly put together. Their hair, their clothes, wingtip shoes.
By the way, you're not wrong, Wapple. I was looking up wingtip shoes. My God, they're expensive.
Yeah, and they're just stupid shoes.
You can always just throw them over your fence line if you get in a tough spot. That's an old story, a reference to an old story where I flipped out over a pair of shoes. Just throw them over your property line, and they're no longer your problem. So I walk into the bar, and here's Janelle standing with these two members of Duran Duran. And when as you might have guessed, when I walked up and said, what's going on, to Janelle, they backpedaled like I had a weapon in my hand. Just because they didn't know. She must not have said, hey, a friend of mine is stopping by. They were just...
They're used to a higher tax bracket caliber of person.
Yeah.
This guy's from the wrong side of the tracks.
I was, filthy and half intoxicated like I was a lot back in those days. At any rate, I ended up having a great time. These guys were very, very nice. Just at first, they just weren't used to something as ugly as I am approaching their friend Janelle. And I think they got a little protective, which I can totally understand. Ended up being nice guys. We had a few Steve Weisers.
Sure. I can't imagine her hanging out with jerks.
No.
Not at all. She's too sweet of a person.
And I think the whole bar was wondering what I was doing mixing with these people. You know what I mean?
I had told you this off air, but I had a recent experience at my son's football. I ended up talking to one of the kids' dads, and it was a lot of fun. He's in a band, and we talked a lot about that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I told Nick, I'm like, I don't know how to take this, but he's like, hey, I got to be honest. I didn't think I was going to like talking to you. And that just...
What does that mean?
I don't know. Cool. I have no idea what that meant.
Judging by your appearance, this guy, he didn't think you'd be fun to talk.
No.
What kind of band is he in?
He's in like a rock band. It's like kind of like lighter rock, it sounds like. But yeah, I didn't fully know what that meant or what kind of vibe I give off. Or why you would say that to another person.
I thought you were going to be a complete dork.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe that was it. I mean, I probably didn't change that opinion, but yeah, that's exactly what he said. I didn't think I was going to like talking to you.
Maybe he doesn't like men who wear basketball shorts.
Oh, could be. Yeah.
Maybe.
I kind of like his honesty.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you gotta respect
I started laughing.
Yeah.
Maybe he's anti-hoodie.
Oh, if that's the case, right, I'm not your guy.
Yeah, get out of here with that.
This was like 2 days after I was telling you. I met a guy that I don't think he meant to be offensive at all. It was a fun conversation. I like talking to him. But, and he's like, hey, dude, so you're not going to be on the fall cruise? I'm like, no, I got a wedding to go to. And he's like, hey, I don't need the full backstory.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he also said, hey, your picture on the website, was that taken like 20 years ago? You look nothing like the picture on the website.
People are rude.
Wow.
And I don't think he meant to be rude at all.
Well, he was.
It was like a failed attempt to bust balls and try to bond or something?
I'm not even sure really why that happened, but I was cracking up. I got to be honest, I kind of thought you guys were going to suck this morning.
Well, I don't like the way people are talking to you lately, Josh. I don't.
Beef Cannon Jesus said, maybe this dude knows you're in radio and thought you're going to be another radio D-bag. Maybe. I guess I don't know if he knows
that. I can totally understand.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. We didn't talk about anything like that, but maybe he somehow knew. I don't know.
That's like when my old beer league softball and hockey buddy met my brother, my twin brother, and was surprised that it was my twin brother because, quote, he's good looking.
Now,
Blow me, Calvin.
Was he busting your balls? Or?
No. I remember I overheard the conversation. He didn't know I was there.
Oh. Yeah, so it's a little different.
I'll be seeing Calvin on Sunday, and maybe it's time for me to get him back for that. He's just a...
What's the occasion if you
He's a terrible person. It's his wife's birthday party.
Oh, nice. Are you having a theme? I know you love themed parties.
You love theme parties.
Are we having a theme? No, I'm going.
That's about it. Nobody's going to dress as Deadpool or Wolverine or anything like that?
God help us, I hope not. I mean, I'm not hosting the party, so I don't control the theme. If I walk up on the scene and there is a theme, I won't be sticking around. Calvin, it's his wife's birthday this weekend, by God. Everyone is invited. I'll see you there.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks.
There are people who just don't go to work.
Oh, yeah. I experienced that yesterday.
They just don't.
Yeah, yesterday we went to pick up some food, and we show up when it says it's going to be ready, shortly after it opened. And I thought, well, my goodness, maybe they must have had a day off we weren't aware of. And so we check online. It said, no, it's open. They let us order and all that kind of stuff online. And then we waited about 15 minutes, and then decided, well, shoot, I guess it's just not open today. And then there was a worker that came out. and he just stood there and kind of smoked a cigarette. And I thought, well, I guess today's not our day to pick up this food.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
It's tough to find good help.
One dude, he came out the store, he had a smoke break, went right back in. You never got your food?
I never saw him go back in.
You never went back
No.
I kind of like that.
in? Well, I guess, you know,
on the door it says the place is open late. I guess I always thought it meant late at night, but I guess it's just when they start.
Yeah.
They are open late.
Here's where I was going with all this, and maybe this is just the liquor talking. There are people who just don't go. And I'll be more clear about who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about trust-fund babies. You know, they don't have to work. And if I were one of them, I wouldn't do it either, right? You're just born rich, right? I wouldn't go to work either if I were them. I'm not talking about folks who earned a lot of money, made a lot of money, and now they can just sit back and do nothing. Because, you know, it makes sense. It's not terribly interesting, really. You made a bunch of money, now you can sit there and do nothing. Cool, I'm good with that, too. Of course, there are folks who can't find a job, and I'm very sympathetic to their problems. Folks who are unable to work, I'm sympathetic towards them as well. I'm talking about the folks I'm talking about, the ones I was thinking about yesterday. The folks who are just as able-bodied as the next person, just as able-bodied as the next person, and they got bills to pay and all that, right? Just your average schmuck, and they still just don't go to work. That's the guy I want to be. But I don't
like I said, I can tell you a particular restaurant to go work at. I'm saying this guy decided I'm going to show up whenever I want. If there's a group of people outside, you know, who are trying just to go and get some food there, whatever. That's not my problem as an employee of this establishment.
That's the guy I want to be. I want to know their secrets.
I had a family member that was like that, and he just didn't like working. Like he said, I don't know, working just isn't for me. And I mean, he was younger at the time, probably late 20s, and I said, that's just what people got to do, man.
Yeah.
You got to go to work. Don't you want to be able to buy things?
Did he live with his folks?
Yes.
Okay, so he didn't really have bills to pay?
No, he definitely still had bills to pay.
Did he have a kid or two?
No.
Okay, but still.
Like, what? How do you not just go to work?
That's what I'm talking about. I want to have the balls to make that decision someday.
And even when they have kids and they still don't have to go to work, that's what's mind-blowing.
Well, what do you mean don't have? No, they choose not to.
Yeah.
What made you think of this out of curiosity?
I don't know. I think yesterday I'm sitting around, I'm prepping for today's show, and I just thought, man, I mean, what if I just decided, you know what, piss on it. I don't feel like going back.
Well, you can. You could start tomorrow. You could start today if you wanted to.
But like I'm saying, Josh, I don't have the balls for that. I don't have the balls to just say, you know what, I'm done going. Because I still have bills to pay and this and that.
It's not balls.
It's not balls?
No, it's far worse than not having balls.
What is it then?
It's despicable.
I want to know their secrets. It's despicable?
It's despicable is what it is.
My dad would say zero work ethic whatsoever.
Yeah, I was thinking of also, and then this is what crossed my mind, and I love this line from that movie Office Space where, what's the main character's name? Peter?
Yep.
And he's talking to his bro, his neighbor Lawrence, right? Everyone knows, and everyone probably thinks I'm headed towards the two chicks at the same time line. I'm not. Although that's a great line. That's not my favorite line from that scene where Peter from Office Space is talking to his hilarious neighbor Lawrence with the handlebar mustache. I love that actor. I don't know what his name is. Something very German. His name is like Borgenstein or something. Well, you guys know what I'm talking about, the scene with Peter and and it's the setup you've heard a million times. Peter says to Lawrence, if I had $1 million, Lawrence says to Peter, what would you do if you had $1 million? And Peter says, I would do nothing. And this is the line that I've always loved from that scene where Lawrence says, well, you don't have to have $1 million to do nothing. I got a cousin, broke, don't do shh. Right? I love that line. So I don't know, Josh. Like I said, I was just thinking. I was thinking about my fascination with those folks who, again, they're just regular schmucks. They got bills to pay, maybe a kid or two.
Well, other people are supporting their lifestyle. That's how it goes.
And someone says to them, do you want a job? And they say, you know what? Nah.
That's all right. I'm good.
I want that life. I want to be that guy. I just don't have the seeds to do it.
Well, you need a sugar mama. Ooh. You get a check from someone.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, they're not just like existing on, not going to work. It's people that go to work that are allowing them to exist, unless they want to live on in a cardboard box somewhere.
Diedrich Bader, that's the actor who played Lawrence. Yeah, I don't know. That's the life I was meant to lead, I think. That dude who just lays himself out on the couch and just says, nah.
I'm good.
Yeah, but yet the bills are piling up and you get the notice on the door like in the movies. You'll be evicted in 2 weeks. That's the guy I was meant to be.
Doesn't even get stressed.
Yeah, what do you do with, you don't feel that stress? They got to feel the stress, right, Cubby?
They gotta.
Well, obviously they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, that stress keeps you going to work, right?
That's true.
They don't feel that stress. They're better than the rest of us. They've cracked the code.
I should have been that guy.
93X.
Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us? We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com.